KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Christopher Cruz in Washington. After a busy weekend in the Caribbean Sea, U.S. forces today aren't letting up in their efforts to seize sanctioned vessels. CBS's Jared Hill has details.
Off the coast of Venezuela, the U.S. Coast Guard is now in active pursuit of a third oil tanker. This after seizing what the White House calls a second sanctioned vessel early Saturday. Venezuela called the operation a serious act of piracy. The White House accuses both vessels of evading sanctions as it ramps up its pressure campaign on dictator Nicolas Maduro.
An American official says the tanker's flying a false flag and is under a judicial seizure order. The Justice Department is pushing back now on accusations that it's trying to protect President Trump in the process of releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche on NBC.
The absurdity of us pulling down a photo, a single photo, because President Trump was in it, is laughable.
Saturday, the department removed a photograph it posted Friday. After further review, it was re-posted yesterday. On CBS's Face the Nation, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna was critical of the release process.
One of the survivors said they released her name accidentally, but they still have not released the FBI file about the people who abused her at her request.
Another Russian general's been killed. A bomb exploded under his car in a residential neighborhood of Moscow. The BBC's longtime Moscow correspondent Steve Rosenberg.
Images from the scene show the mangled wreckage of a white vehicle. Police have cordoned off the crime scene. Russia's investigative committee says one of the versions being investigated is that the bomb was planted by Ukrainian special services.
This is the third assassination of a senior Russian military officer in a year. By many accounts, this could be the busiest Christmas week ever on the roads and in the skies. These flyers were getting a head start at the airport in Hartford, Connecticut.
I packed everything that we needed.
I actually watched TV this morning. I saw the lines and I said, I better get going now.
The fortunes of the nation's bourbon industry have changed dramatically, and not for the better, says CBS's Jim Crisula.
The maker of Jim Beam Bourbon has announced it will shut down production at its main distillery in Kentucky for all of next year. U.S. bourbon and whiskey companies have been caught up in the Trump administration's tariff war and have faced retaliatory import taxes. Sales have also been down as fewer Americans drink hard liquor.
Dow futures at this hour are up fractionally. S&P 500 futures up about 1/3%. NASDAQ up about 0.5%. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Take the next step forward in your career with great benefits and an award-winning workplace. Apply at careers.progressive.com.
It is now 6:03, and we've got mostly clear skies, 32 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. A 45-year-old woman and 9-year-old girl are in critical condition, unstable after being found shot inside a home in North City Sunday morning. The house had been set on fire. The incident took place just after midnight in the 5700 block of Floy Avenue. St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says police are asking the community to rally around the victims.
We ask that St. Louisans come together and pray for them right now. They need as many prayers as they can get, trying to survive an unthinkable tragedy. We have many questions. Our homicide detectives are working right now to get those answers.
Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS.
A police chase that began early Sunday in the Metro East ended with the driver being killed in a crash on I-70 in St. Louis. City police say they shut down the section of the highway for a bit near West Florissant for accident reconstruction.
Investigators say 29-year-old Precious Black allegedly dragged a Fairmont City police officer with her car to avoid a traffic stop. That's what led to the chase across state lines. The officer is said to have non-life-threatening injuries.
A Saturday night fight between a man and a woman escalated to the point of the woman shooting and killing the man. St. Louis County Police say it happened around 9:30 at a motel in the 6600 block of South Lindbergh. They identified the victim as 47-year-old Jason Maines of Imperial. They say the woman has been interviewed and the investigation remains active.
One Republican and one Democrat are currently running to follow outgoing St. Louis County Executive Sam Page. KMOX asked, how do they approach the biggest issue, balancing the budget?
Democratic State Senator Brian Williams and Republican Councilman Dennis Hancock both believe the county needs to find ways to operate more efficiently in order to close the budget gap. Brian Williams says his experience on the Missouri State Senate Appropriations Committee makes him a good candidate to fix the county's budget problems.
I've had the opportunity to balance a budget with a record surplus for several years now.
Councilman Dennis Hancock says the county needs to prove it is responsibly maintaining the budget before potentially increasing revenue.
We need to make sure that we're being good stewards of their money and being able to prove that we're good stewards of their money and that we're not wasting their money.
Last week, the county council passed a budget that includes a 9% cut. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
This year has brought unprecedented need in the St. Louis area. Now, Spire has started a new program acknowledging that.
If you're finding it difficult to pay your gas bill, Spire's community outreach specialist, Vonda Cotton, says there's not just one program, there are several, including Dollar Help.
Customers are able to pledge or donate $1 or more a month. They can do that by logging online to my account or just by checking the box on their billing monthly statement. It's a program that I actually donate to as well. And as the community outreach specialist, I get to see the positive impact that the program makes in the community.
The Missouri Public Service Commission also granted Spire the ability to increase funding for people with limited incomes.
Customers who are experiencing some sort of medical emergency, and what it does, it suspends potential disconnects of their service up to 30 days. Along, of course, Spire, along with other utility providers.
Spire abides by the cold weather rule, meaning the utility cannot cut off people's gas during extreme cold. KMOX also asked if they are shutting off people's gas in the tornado zone. Cotton says they are not, nor have they. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
One charity says a specific form of giving back slows down considerably during the holiday season. WBBM's Rob Hart.
Most charities in the Chicago area and around the country say the end of the year is when they receive the bulk of their financial donations. But monetary gifts are just one form of charitable giving. You can give the gift of your time, or in the case of the American Red Cross of Illinois, you can give blood. But blood donations slow down at this time of year, even though the need for blood is as constant as ever. Emily Alanis is the district manager of donor recruitment for the American Red Cross of Illinois.
We have a lot of people taking vacations, going out of state, going to family outings, but it makes it so hard to keep up our daily inventory.
The business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The Wheelhouse will ring in the new year and then close. The large downtown bar and restaurant on Spruce near Busch Stadium had made headlines during the COVID pandemic when it and the Start Bar were open in violation of public health orders.
And in addition to that, earlier this year, Wheelhouse was the site of an officer-involved shooting that killed a man. On the Wheelhouse social media site, a message reads, "We are endlessly grateful to everyone who walked through our doors the last 11 years and made Wheelhouse what it was."
It is now 6:08. We'll take a look at traffic and weather coming up next.
You know how we all of our kids make lists and everything and visit with Santa, and I happen to be really good friends with Santa. It's like we're the same people. So every once in a while, you know, when he's got some free time, which he did, we're cool. So he always makes it a point to stop in and have an adult beverage with me. I was talking to him about, do you ever have requests for a homeowner wanting a furnace or an air conditioner? He said he does. And I said, so what do you deliver on that? Because I'm your best bud and you never let me know. So I've never delivered anything or put anything together. But he said he was going to leave my number and my card. If you don't find it, here's what's on my card. Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. Merry Christmas and God bless.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection.
NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 6:10, and Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
So, Tom, we still have our current trouble spot on southbound 55. It's still shut down at Arsenal due to a crash south of there. So all the traffic's being diverted off at Arsenal, except for, unfortunately, the folks that are stuck behind the crash. So that's the situation right now. And the jam goes back just south of Gravois. The jam's growing slowly. Again, opposite direction of the rush hour flow. Most folks are going northbound on 55 this time of day. And thankfully, northbound 55 is not impacted by it. Nobody's even slowing down for a look so far on northbound 55, so you're good to go there. We had signal problems reported. Tesson Ferry at Wells. Just be advised, you may find a little bit of a delay there. We'll try to keep tabs on it as the morning goes along to see if they've actually fixed them or not. But other than that, traffic on the interstates looks good for you on both sides of the river right now. Again, just remember that closure southbound 55 at Arsenal, so you may want to take westbound 44 as you come through downtown. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A mix of clouds and sun today and becoming milder this afternoon, high 55. Partly cloudy tonight, low 46. Tomorrow, mild with intervals of clouds and sun, high 60. On Wednesday, Christmas Eve, mostly cloudy but very mild, the high 67. Thursday, Christmas Day, clouds and some sunshine, breezy and even warmer, the high 71. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is clear and 32 degrees downtown, and the weather is sponsored by RP Lumber. Best service, best value. From minor repairs to a whole new deck, RP Lumber helps you improve your home like a pro, even if you are not. Learn more at rplumber.com to find a location near you. RP Lumber, best service, best value.
It's 6:12, sports in 3 minutes. A North St. Louis County woman died in a house fire early Sunday while her husband was able to get out safely. County police tell us foul play is not suspected at this time. The fatal fire happened in the 6800 block of Park Road. That is near Route 367. The St. Louis Regional Bomb and Arson Squad is looking into the matter, which is typical when a death is involved.
Some people accused of committing crimes in Missouri are having their trials held up.
That's because they need to have a mental health evaluation before standing trial, and there's a backlog of hundreds of cases requiring one. Some inmates have waited up to a year. State Representative Brian Seitz says that's unacceptable.
I think this needs to be done in a more timely manner so that they can be processed through the system, determined innocent or guilty, instead of just being held waiting for a mental health evaluation.
Seitz tells MissouriNet he's pre-filed a bill for the January legislative session that would require evaluations be done within 45 days. The state would also have to submit an annual report on its results. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
A major employer is closing in a small Macoupin County town. The Georgia Pacific Box Company employs 135 people in Mount Olive, which has a population of 2,200. Resident John Knowles tells the Business Journal it's a real gut punch to the town, and it is going to be tough. The Georgia Pacific spokesperson says demand for boxes has declined since the height of the pandemic.
Menards has agreed to overhaul its rebate program after a coalition of state attorneys general said the company misled shoppers.
The $4.25 million settlement claims Menards' 11% off advertising implied savings at checkout when customers were actually getting merchandise credit for later use. Several states said those rebate rules were tucked into small print. Investigators also accused Menards of price gouging during the early months of COVID-19 on items like garbage bags and cleaning supplies. Menards must now clearly disclose rebate terms, improve its online rebate tracking system, and give customers a full year to file claims. Illinois is set to receive just under $1 million from the deal.
Care for a little vacay, but don't want to shell out much cash? CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette has more on the increase of a kind of staycation.
If you have to get away but are on a budget,
travel has gotten a lot harder for people logistically and cost-wise. People are definitely sort of watching what they're spending.
Nicole Mattern is the head of marketing at Resort Pass, which offers daycations at hotels, resorts, and spas.
You'll be able to kind of show up at the hotel and experience the pool and the spa just like an overnight guest would without having to stay overnight.
Resort Pass now works with more than 2,500 properties. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Well, come on down this summer and see the St. Louis Cardinals, especially if you're interested in young players developing right before your eyes. That's what the Cardinals are going to become here after trading Sonny Gray to the Boston Red Sox. And yesterday they traded Wilson Contreras to the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox get $8 million to cover the remainder of his $41.5 million he is owed. And the Cardinals get 3 pitchers. Hunter Dobbins, who actually started against the Cardinals earlier last season and won at Fenway Park, made 11 starts, but tore his ACL in July and needed surgery. That ended his season. But Dobbins was pretty good for them. In 13 games, 11 starts, he went 4-1 with a 4.13 ERA. 2 prospects definitely to keep an eye on. Yoiker Fajardo is 19 years old. He is the 9th-ranked prospect in the Boston system. In 17 starts, he had a 2.25 ERA. That's very good. And Blake Ida, who's 22 years old, made 19 starts in Class A for the Red Sox with a 3.98 ERA. This most likely puts Alec Burleson at first base for the Cardinals moving forward as Wilson Contreras goes to the Red Sox. We'll hear from Chaim Bloom. Some of the things he told me on Sports on a Sunday Morning led us to believe that a trade was imminent, and Bloom was correct. We'll hear a lot about that coming up at 6:22. Munetaka Murakami gets a deal with the Chicago White Sox. If you haven't heard of him, you will. He's a Japanese slugger, only 25 years old. He was hot on the free agent market when he became available, and Murakami goes to the White Sox. 2-year deal, $34 million. College volleyball. Texas A&M is the national champion for the first time. The Aggies won it yesterday. College hoops, SLU beat New Hampshire at Chaffetz Arena, 93-79. That was actually a close game. Wasn't supposed to be, but it was a close game until the end. Bragging rights game tonight. Illinois is a 9-point favorite at Enterprise Center against Missouri. That tips off at 7 o'clock on FS1. Mizzou football has hired Chip Lindsey as its offensive coordinator. The Tigers get Michigan's former offensive coordinator. He's also the former offensive coordinator in many stops, including North Carolina. The college football playoff is lined up. The quarterfinals, the New Year's Eve game will be Ohio State and Miami in the Cotton Bowl, and then a trio of games on New Year's Day. Texas Tech and Oregon will go at it in the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, Alabama and Indiana, and the Sugar Bowl that night will be Georgia and Ole Miss. NFL yesterday, it was the Steelers pulling one out late against the Detroit Lions, and it was kind of crazy how it all went down. Steelers won the game 29-24, and they did it with an offensive pass interference. Jared Goff's touchdown on the final play negated as an offensive pass interference was called on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Goff threw a 4th down pass to St. Brown just short of the goal line. The receiver pushed off cornerback Jalen Ramsey to get free, and before the Steelers could bring St. Brown to the ground, he threw the quarterback a lateral to set up an apparent score. Officials huddled for some time on the field and then announced the decision. Another strange thing that happened in this game, actually not strange, but somewhat concerning, is DK Metcalf, the receiver, swiped at a fan leaning over the railing in the front row during the second quarter. This was at Ford Field. Metcalf and the fan was wearing a black and blue shirt and a blue wig, were speaking to each other before the 2-time Pro Bowler threw a right hand toward the man's face. Metcalf didn't appear to make much, if any, contact. There wasn't a penalty flag thrown, but the league will review the incident, and Metcalf could face discipline. I'm Tom Ackerman on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-352-9239. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-352-9239. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-352-9239. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-352-9239. 800-352-9239 or biglou.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%. And there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-822-1490. That's 800-822-1490. 800-822-1490.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
621, let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news downtown, Debbie. They cleared that crash on southbound 55. This traffic reports the service of 4 Pretty Paws Mobile Pet Spa, southbound 55, back open at Arsenal, and the jam has dissipated rapidly. Like I said, it's opposite direction or rush hour flow, so we never had a whole lot of traffic there. Seeing a little bit of a slowdown on southbound 55, just south of Butler Hill, about midway down to Merrimack Bottom, so there may be an incident there, maybe a stall on the shoulder or something. And we do have a new crash, unfortunately, westbound 70 just before you get to Warrenton. A short jam. Again, this is opposite direction of the rush hour flow, but westbound 70 just before Warrenton, we have a crash with lane blockage in that area right now as well. So if we gain, clear one crash and gain another, it seems like we just keep going back and forth. They did also clear that crash, merge the crews back in service now, so there shouldn't be any restrictions on Highway Y at Tin House Road in the DeSoto area. Since 2018, 4 Pretty Paws Mobile Pet Spa has provided stress-free one-on-one grooming right at your doorstep. Convenient, personal, and trusted. Book your holiday appointment at 4prettypaws.com. Now serving Southern Illinois. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And that weather, Roger, it's going to be balmy as we head into Christmas. Today, a high of 55. Tomorrow, a high of 60. It's Wednesday, 67. And Christmas Day, 71. Not a drop of rain in this forecast, by the way. 73 on Friday. Currently, it's 33 downtown. All right, let's talk more about what the Cardinals may or may not do here. This is Chaim Bloom from yesterday with me on Sports on a Sunday Morning. After this interview, the Cardinals ended up making a trade for Wilson Contreras. They got 3 pitchers in return. Major League ready Hunter Dobbins and 2 prospects, Yoiker Fajardo and Blake Ida. And Bloom pretty much told us that this was going to go down soon, not this trade specifically, but that he was on the hunt.
Yeah, well, we continue to be very active in conversations, certainly on the trade front, and also continue to be in touch with a number of free agents. I expect as the offseason goes on, whether before the holidays, after the holidays, we do still want to continue to add to this club. I've mentioned in the past our priority on amassing pitching depth. That's not something that ends just with, the trade we made with Sonny or with this signing in May. We want to keep doing that throughout the winter, and we'll keep looking at different ways to do that. And, certainly stay active, talking to other clubs about trades and seeing if there's ways that we can continue to add young talent to our core.
We won't ask you, of course, to divulge trade talks. We all know the names that have been thrown out there of players that would be attractive to other teams. My question is this. I know that you're looking for pitching depth. Is there a certain area of offense or defense, for that matter, that you feel like you need as an organization right now? Are you searching for a certain type of player in that area?
Well, you know what? When you're trying to build for the long haul, you don't want to walk past any type of talent, even if it might not be the perfect immediate fit, especially if you're talking about prospects. A lot can change by the time those guys get to the big leagues. And so you don't want to walk past talent in any form. But certainly, as we look at this club, like I said, pitching really on both sides of it, the rotation and the bullpen. And then, in terms of position players, it's nice to have some versatility with this group to where you can accommodate different types of players. Obviously, a lot has been made of lineup balance and being a little more left-handed than you'd like. But that said, we did that with a lot of really good players that we value. So, I do think in general, probably a right-handed hitter fits us a little bit better than a left-handed hitter. But talent's talent, and we're not going to walk past anybody who we think can help us.
What's the latest in the recovery on some of your players that had off-season procedures? Brendan Donovan, Mason Wynn, we heard last time we talked to him, he was already out there jogging after he won the Gold Glove. Not to mention, if you could, Lars Nootbaar and Ivan Herrera. All of them had some work done as the season came to a close.
Yes, and all those guys are on track and doing well. Mason, as you mentioned, has made a really, really good recovery from that cleanup. Donnie's surgery, if it happens during the season, it costs you, somewhere between, a month and 2 months. But obviously in the off season, we have plenty of time, and he's really already into the phase of things where he's going to be able to have a normal off season. And the other two guys are coming along. Ivan's rehab is progressing just as planned. He's putting in plenty of work. As I had a chance to talk to a bunch of folks about at the winter meetings, putting in plenty of work, not just to get his arm right, but also to study up on some of the things that he wants to be able to do in order to be as good as he can be behind the plate. And Newt is killing it. He's doing wonderfully with his rehab. We actually just had a member of our medical staff do an in-person checkup with him to see how that rehab's coming along. He's moving around great, really progressing well from this.
What's been your read on Nootbaar the last 2 years you've been in this organization? I mean, we all know what the ceiling feels like. It feels high. He's got this freakish athletic ability. How do you see Lars Nootbaar?
Yeah, you summed it up. He will show you for stretches, obviously everything you want to see for an impact player. The difficulty with him has been the consistency of maintaining that throughout an entire season and obviously staying on the field. And those two things probably have some relation to each other. But when you look at, his ability at his best, and that's part of what we hope this surgery gets him back to contribute on defense and move around well in the outfield. And then at the plate, somebody who sees the ball as well as he does and has the ability to hit it as hard as he does, that's a really dangerous combination. So it's really about putting it all together and then sustaining that for 6, 7, 8 months.
I know I ask you this every single time, but it's good to sort of get a gauge on how things are moving along here. Is there urgency to get a trade done immediately? Are you willing to wait until after the holidays? Are you okay with that? How are the Cardinals looking right now in terms of building this roster via trade?
I'd love to be able to get something done before the holidays. There have been very active conversations throughout the industry and with us as well, and it'd be great to be able to do that. I think just for the sake of continuing to move along in our off season, as you mentioned. Now, that said, there's no formal deadline. There's nothing. There's really no difference ultimately when you get to February and March between having done it now or having done it in a couple weeks. Obviously, these things, oftentimes these conversations move along at their own pace, and things don't happen until everybody involved is ready for them to happen. But it would be really nice to get something done before the holidays. And in general, I feel like anytime you have a chance to make a move, it's because you, and obviously if it's a trade at other clubs, everybody feels this is the best thing for their organization. So if we do get something done, it'll be because we thought it was the right thing for the Cardinals, and we'll feel good about that.
That's Chaim Bloom, and as he tends to do, he gave us a little warning there that something was about to go down, and it did. Wilson Contreras traded to the Red Sox yesterday for 3 pitchers. Much more coming up in sports at 6:45. It's 6:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
St. Louis Public Library is there for you this holiday break when you need to get out of the house and do something, but you're thinking, I don't have any money. It's an expensive time of year. I'll tell you what, there's always something going on at St. Louis Public Library. For example, today at the Booter Branch Music and Movement Storytime, Qigong at Central Library. That is an exercise class. Monday matinees are going on. Just check out the events calendar. There's so much happening now, just so you can plan appropriately. All St. Louis Public Library locations will be closed December 24th and 25th. But if you wanted to check something out, you could do it online. Their digital library is deep, and you can just do that with your library card. If you do head to Central or any of the neighborhood branches, you can drop off your food items. It's the MLK food drive going on through the end of January. It all benefits the food bank, the St. Louis Area Food Bank. Get all the information at slpl.org. It is St. Louis's original search engine, St. Louis Public Library, slpl.org.
Give the best of Broadway right here in St. Louis. Muni season tickets are on sale now, just in time for the holidays. Our 2026 season includes Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. See all 7 shows starting at just $126. For tickets, visit muni.org.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. Thanks to supporters like you, children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach incredible milestones. Please donate today at treeofhope.org.
It is 6:30, and right now it's clear and 32 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, heading out the door onto the highways this morning. We've had some problems early. All the big problems have been cleared, so that's good news. We're just seeing a little volume in the normal spot, northbound 55, a little busy between Bayless and Weber, just a touch slow there. North 270, though, looks great. Starting out from 55 through Gravel and up around Ladue, everything's on the go for you there. We did have that one crash. It looks like they've cleared it. I'm just seeing a slowdown now. 10 minutes ago was a jam. This is the crash westbound 70 just before Warrenton. So maybe there's a lane closed or maybe they're on the shoulder. It's hard for me to tell, but a little bit of a delay there. But again, not as bad as it was 10 minutes ago. On the Illinois side, things still look great westbound across the Poplar and Musical Veterans Bridges. No issues there. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A very warm forecast for the end of December. Today, the coolest day of all these 5 days that we've got to tell you about. 55 degrees today, clouds and sun. Then 60 tomorrow, 67 on Christmas Eve, 71 on Christmas Day, and 73 on Friday. Right now, it's 32 downtown.
It's 6:32. KMOX asked, how would the 2 candidates running to be the next St. Louis County executive fix the budget deficit? The lone Republican candidate, Dennis Hancock, sits on the county council that just slashed the budget by around 9%. He says the county needs to take an honest look at the services it provides.
We have to look at what services are we providing and do they make sense in 2026.
On the Democratic ticket, State Senator Brian Williams says he would like to see the county operate with more fiscal efficiency, but wants to also make access to services easier for residents.
A county that allows services to become a lot more accessible, feel closer to residents and not feel challenging to get things done.
At this time, both Hancock and Williams are preparing to run unopposed in next August's primary.
Federal data used to draft Missouri's formula for calculating state aid to Missouri public schools no longer exists. The U.S. Department of Education confirming that the wage index, which measured the salaries of college graduates by region, was deemed non-essential.
Another set of data thought to be a workaround solution is also set to go dark. The working groups were supposed to complete their work this week so they could report to the Missouri School Funding Modernization Task Force, which is scheduled to review the new plan in January.
Kansas City lawmakers are set to vote, Kansas lawmakers are set to vote today on a proposal to lure the Chiefs football team out of Missouri. That plan could replace Arrowhead Stadium with a new facility for major year-round events. Meanwhile, the interim county executive in Jackson County, Missouri, says not so fast. Paul Lavoda is pushing Operation Save Arrowhead.
Our message is a lot better. Their message was, speculation, there's a meeting, might be going. We've got facts, we've got meat, we've got bones.
We're told the Kansas proposal involves the use of STAR bonds to cover up to 70% of the project's cost. paid off with state tax revenues.
It's 6:34. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
December 24th marks a century of KMOX. 100 years as the voice of St. Louis. To celebrate, enjoy a day of special KMOX Day broadcasts featuring 10 hours of programming beginning at 8 a.m. A full day honoring the legendary voices, groundbreaking programming, and unforgettable moments that shaped a century of service. Join us December 24th. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. KMOX, 100 years as the voice of St. Louis.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, FanDuel Sportsbook is live here in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that is really tough to beat. So right now, new customers can bet $5 and then get $300 in bonus bets. Whether you win or lose that initial $5 bet, you get those $300 bonus bets either direction. And it doesn't matter what you're choosing. Whether it's football, basketball, hockey, you can bet it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. I've been on it since the app launched years ago. I just couldn't play in Missouri until now. Now I get to, and you can do. So download FanDuel today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to join in on the excitement, because Missouri, it's time to play your game with FanDuel. Remember, 21 and older and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
It is 6:36, and we need to get you your Money Minute from Bloomberg. It is sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. ChatGPT maker OpenAI is squeezing more money out of its products. According to a report from tech news site The Information, OpenAI's margins have reached 70% this year, up from 52% at the end of last year. The ChatGPT creator set off the modern AI boom, but has yet to show a profit. Getting you ready for your trading day, it looks like Santa is giving a gift to Wall Street this morning. Stock futures are on the rise ahead of the Christmas holiday. S&P futures are up 24 points, Dow futures rising 52. The New York Stock Exchange will close early on Wednesday. No trading on Thursday, but traders are back in action for a full session on Friday. And gold and silver continue to shine, soaring to all-time highs. Both metals are firmly on course for their strongest annual gain since 1979. The latest push comes as traders bet the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates twice next year. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
If you have a home to sell, you might be wondering, oh my gosh, is this a good time of year? Who's buying homes right now? Well, if your agent is Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, your home is as good as sold. Start packing, start moving on to your next adventure, because it's your home sold or Gloria will buy it herself. That's why she calls it Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria has 24,000 plus buyers in waiting. And that means that she can sell quickly for top dollar and more money in your pocket. She will guarantee in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it herself. As always, Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. If you have some sort of issue that you think might complicate things, talk to Gloria about it. I guarantee she's got a way to sell your home quickly and for the most money. And she's got many different ways to sell a home. That's how she and her team close hundreds of homes every year, not just a handful. Her number is 314-325-6888 or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Christmas holiday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Christmas holiday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. 2025 was a turning point for America. House Republicans didn't just talk about the challenges facing our country, we delivered real solutions. I was proud to stand beside President Trump to deliver historic tax cuts, secure our border, and eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. This year, my office helped constituents by solving over 500 cases and returning to them nearly $1.8 million. I'm Congressman Bob Onder, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives. This holiday season, when you get them Steel, batteries are included. Buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for gift ideas and seasonal savings. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
6:40 in time for traffic and weather here on Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey along with Tom Ackerman. And here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, coming in on Highway 55 this morning, a pretty good run. In fact, a little slowdown we had earlier around Holly Hills is thinned out for now. North 270 looks good from 55 headed up through Gravois and around Ladue. Everything's on the go. Out west, eastbound 70 and 64 look good from the split in Wentzville. Southbound 61 still okay. Westbound 70, still a little bit of a slowdown approaching Warrenton where we had that earlier crash. Doesn't look as bad on Tesson Ferry at Wells. There was a little bit of a jam there earlier, less of one right now. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
Metro Transit is excited to offer the On the Way with ADA program, which allows ADA paratransit riders to ride MetroLink and Metro Bus for free. Visit metrostlewis.org to learn more.
Hey, here's AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with our summer forecast for Christmas.
And yeah, it's going to feel like it's more like September around here as opposed to Christmas with highs in the low 40s. That's in our rearview mirror. We're going to see some sunshine today, Tom, and with it, we'll warm to 55. Tonight's low only 46 under partly cloudy skies. This balmy weather just gets better and better over the coming days. Clouds and some sun tomorrow up to 60. 67, even though there won't be much in the way of sunshine on Christmas Eve, it's still going to be a really warm air mass for this time of the year. And the warmth just keeps on building. Christmas Day, clouds and sun, a warm breeze for the afternoon, the high 71. Could have a record fall on Friday, partly sunny, 73. The record right now is 70 from 1942. 32 in St. Peter's, it's 30 in Florissant, partly cloudy, 32 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:42. The country is experiencing a surge of the flu this season. The CDC has already tallied up more than 4 million cases. Dr. Benjamin Abella is chair of emergency medicine at Mount Sinai Health System in New York City.
It's certainly important to wash hands. It's certainly important to wear masks if you are sick or if you're immune compromised, and probably in most cases in public. And it's not too late for the flu shot.
So far, the flu has killed 2,000 people, including 2 children.
The Pacific Gas and Electric Company says it experienced a massive outage on Saturday that left more than 130,000 homes and businesses without power in San Francisco. Here's CBS News correspondent Nicole Valdez.
No lights or nothing. I took my lime up here, almost got hit by a car. No one can see anything.
Dozens of Waymo self-driving cars stopped in their tracks. The company suspended the car's operations due to a lack of power to the driving sensors throughout the city. cars left abandoned, clogging intersections.
The U.S. Department of Justice says it will keep reviewing and redacting the material related to its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein to, quote, protect the victims. We get more from Chanel Call of CBS.
Within the documents that were released, an FBI report from 1996 filed by Maria Farmer, alleging Epstein's interest in child pornography.
She reported Epstein to the authorities, to the federal authorities, to the FBI. And as far as we can tell, it looks like the government did absolutely nothing.
The Democratic and Republican lawmakers who co-sponsored the Epstein Files Transparency Act suggested they could also draft articles of impeachment against Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Thieves stole a Christmas tree from a church, but they couldn't steal the Christmas spirit.
It happened at Hope Dealer Church in Yucaipa, southeast of San Bernardino, California. A security camera shows two women drive up, grab the tree, and put it on the roof of their SUV, then drive away. The tree had only been up for a day. News of the theft spread to the owner of the nearby County Line Christmas tree farm, Stephanie Stark, who invited the church to come get a replacement for free.
Everybody in this town really works together.
Lead pastor David Hernandez said it was a blessing, one that he has ensured will stay where it belongs with the help of a heavy chain.
We locked the tree up.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Another big drawing for Powerball fans. It's going to be $1.6 billion.
My goodness, what?
$1.6 billion.
All right.
That's $735 million in cash if you take the cash.
I feel like I keep on winning because I haven't played.
Same.
So
yeah,
that's
I keep
more
forgetting to
cash in
buy
my
tickets.
pocket.
So, yeah, that shows we're lucky.
Maybe I'll do it. Well, the Cardinals have handed the Boston Red Sox $8 million to help with this man's salary.
Facing Contreras, a 3-1 pitch coming up, and that's hit towards left field, looping, and it gets by the left fielder, and it's going to go to the warning track. One run scores. Here comes another, and Contreras is headed to third, and he's going to make it safely. Two Cardinal runs, two big insurance runs here in the eighth inning, and the Cardinals now lead 5-1.
Wilson Contreras is on the move. He's owed $41.5 million in his remaining salary, and the Cardinals helping out a little bit as they trade him to the Red Sox. Wilson was a good Cardinal. He came in trying to replace Yadier Molina. He wanted to. He ended up being criticized for his catching. He took it well. He ended up eventually moving to first base and became a good first baseman. And in plays just like that called by Ricky Horton on KMOX, Contreras was a very good clutch and sometimes power-hitting middle-of-the-order hitter for the Cardinals. But the Cardinals are trying to get younger. They are trying to develop their minor league system. And as Chaim Bloom has told us over and over, he wants to stockpile pitching for this system, and he has done just that. He's acquired 3 pitchers. Hunter Dobbins comes over from the Red Sox. His season ended last year in July, and he had to have surgery for a torn ACL. Before that, he made 11 starts, including beating the Cardinals at Fenway Park in April. He went 4-1 with a 4.13 ERA. They've also picked up Yoiker Fajardo. He is a 19-year-old prospect who made 17 starts, 2.25 ERA, 9th-ranked prospect in the Boston minor league system. And Blake Ida. He's an interesting one for sure. Take a listen.
The 2-2 pitch from Ida. Sends it home. Cold strike 3. Blake Ida painting the outer third. And the 21-year-old has his first career strikeouts.
Blake Ida had 5 no-hit innings in that outing right there from last year in Single A. That was his first minor league start, and he went 5 no-hit. He ended up making 19 starts for Class A. 22 years old. He had a 3.98 ERA last year. So that was the trade last night. Wilson Contreras to the Red Sox. We'll have much more as we go along this morning. A couple of other notes. SLU beat New Hampshire 93-79 yesterday. The bragging rights game is tonight at Enterprise Center. Mizzou, a 9-point underdog against Illinois. Missouri has hired Michigan offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey to call plays for them next year. Texas A&M won the NCAA volleyball championship. And the Bears and 49ers made the playoffs yesterday when Pittsburgh beat Detroit Also, New England qualified for the playoffs officially when it beat Baltimore last night. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
The KMOX Holiday Show.
There for a smile on your face.
Did you ever hear on KMOX radio a fellow say, that means I'm Bob Hamilton. And he is our narrator. And here he is right here. Here's Bob Hamilton.
Well, our story begins at the Christmas Mall, a busy place wrapped up in tinsel and flashing lights. Children, looking for the meaning of it all, get in line to see Santa. Why, there's Santa now!
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX. The voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by the Polar Express at St. Louis Union Station. Get your tickets now at stlpolarexpressride.com.
This is Amy Mark Scores, chair of this year's Red Kettle campaign. Christmas reminds us of the challenges faced by our neighbors in need, basic needs we sometimes take for granted. When you give with joy to the Salvation Army, you transform lives. You put food on the table and provide warm beds. You give veterans and seniors purpose. You help a child experience the joy of Christmas. And 90 cents of every dollar donated goes directly to critical social services. Bring joy to the world today. Visit salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. TSO, timeless and everlasting. Don't miss the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Lost Christmas Eve, produced by Live Nation. For more details, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's going on 6:51 and time for us to check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's really not bad out there right now, Debbie. A few slowdowns is the worst of it. I believe that crash is still out there, westbound 70 east of Warrenton. I'm looking westbound. I can't see it east of there, but it is westbound. There is a short backup in the area there westbound. Again, it's opposite direction rush hour flow, so that's helping things. Could be worse if it was on the other side of the highway, I would think. Northbound 270 is a little slow up through 64 to the work zone at Ladue. Southbound 94 from 64 down past Highway D. There's some slower traffic there. 55 looks okay down in Festus and north of Bayless, and downtown was still good to go westbound across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From our family at Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation to yours. Happy holidays.
Hurry this up, Mark. I'm freezing my baguettes off.
Relax, Grandpa. Air Comfort Service is on their way. Aubrey, you're not doing anything. You want to let me know when they get here?
Honey, her eyes are frozen shut. Gus.
Avoid a 5-alarm emergency with an HVAC system check from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Learn more at aircomfortservice.com.
Reminds me, I need to see Christmas Vacation sometime this week. One of my favorites for sure.
I need to see It's a Wonderful Life. That is.
I always watch that Christmas Eve.
And then I cry every single time.
Amazing weather this week, really, unless you are really wanting that cold Christmassy weather. We're going to have a warm one today with a high of 55, low 46 tonight, a high of 60 tomorrow, 67 Wednesday, Christmas Day, 71. It's 34 right now.
It is 6:52 as the news continues, and it's time for us to check in with Jill Schlesinger, who is our CBS News business analyst. And this may be our last time checking in with you this year, I think.
Are you sad? I'm so sad.
Well, it's amazing how quickly this year is slipping through our fingers. But
no kidding.
I guess we should talk about, setting some new resolutions for 2026.
I don't know. What else do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the Chiefs? I'm in. Okay. Whatever you want to talk about. I'm here for you.
Your favorite holiday movie? I don't know.
Okay. Well, let me just say that my favorite holiday movie is not really a movie. It is the Charlie Brown's Christmas. That is by far. Yes. Love that so much. Puts me in the mood immediately. Also, the Fidelity Investments 2026 New Year's Financial Resolution Study also puts me in the mood very fast. See how I did that?
Uh-huh.
See that? I just shifted in there. So a lot of people make resolutions, and so many of them are really bad. So it's not terrible. I'm going to make a judgment here, but meaning you can't just put a resolution like I'm going to be better with my money. That is not a resolution. So what is a way to achieve or at least give yourself a better chance of succeeding in a financial goal? It is to make whatever you put down on paper specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That acronym is SMART. So you can't just say be better with my money. You have to be specific. I would like to accumulate 3 months of my living expenses in an emergency reserve fund. I would like to pay down my credit card debt that is outstanding by $1,000 by the end of this year. But whatever it is, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Yeah, you just want to make progress, right? I mean, nothing's perfect in this world.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people are feeling stressed right now. I mean, it's very hard for people like me who study like economics and look at big picture to drill down and hear from people on the ground who say, I don't really care what the stock market is doing, Jill. I don't care that the economy grew by whatever, 2% this year. It's going to be, all I care about is that it seems harder right now than it was 6, 7, 8 years ago in this economy. And the folks who are feeling that are generally, we've talked about this before, they're the people who make less than about $175,000 per household. They are feeling that the price levels, that post-pandemic inflationary spike that is now receded for sure, but overall price levels are very hard for them to manage. And so these folks are not feeling great. And when you're not feeling great, I like to do one thing that I can take control over. And that's why I think this is a good year for a resolution.
Well, people can learn more by visiting jillonmoney.com. And if you want to drill in, go /blog on that too. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me on every week. It's a great honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. You're a big part of our 100th. We turn 100 on Christmas Eve. So
amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
big
Oh,
part of
this
our
is
station.
great. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you very much. It's
Take care.
6:56.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Speaking of, a couple of birthdays to tell you about. Steve Carlton. Boy, one of the greats of all time. He was a Cardinal at one time in his career. Hall of Famer is 81 today. And former Cardinal Lonnie Smith, the world champion, is 70.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. We got a bunch of O'Fallon birthdays today. In O'Fallon, Missouri, it's Mary Lou Meebrewer. In O'Fallon, Illinois, it's Dolores Schutzenhofer, Pat Sugg, and Ann Stoll. Happy birthday wishes going out to Lori Greiner, Alderman Michael Browning, and Maria Yeager. Happy birthday from your big brother.
This is the best birthday ever.
McKelvey Homes, and you go to McKelveyHomes.com to learn more about the reserve at Wildwood. They just had a beautiful ribbon cutting there. A lot of the big dignitaries in St. Louis County, County Executive Sam Page, many others were there for it. And President Jim Brennan is very proud of it. The reserve at Wildwood, just one of many, and I mean many, great communities that you can learn about at McKelveyHomes.com. Founded in 1898, McKelvey Homes is Missouri's oldest and most respected name in home building, a long-standing tradition of quality craftsmanship and exceptional value, committed to the highest standards of excellence. So whether you choose the reserve at Wildwood, one of the thoughtfully designed communities, or you prefer a custom home on your own lot, McKelvey builds the most sought-after locations and places where families truly want to live. Innovative home designs. McKelvey Homes. Move up to McKelvey. McKelveyHomes.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
We're coming up on Christmas very quickly here. Christmas has been and always has been a religious holiday for a lot of people throughout the world. And if not religious, just a celebration for family and friends. It's also the time of year where, while you might be enjoying or you like the holidays, there's people that are suffering, which this time of year is a really, really hard time of year for them. There's people that are suffering this Christmas because this could be their first Christmas without their loved one, husband, wife, mother, father, child, or their second, third, fourth, 10th, 12th Christmas. So for every one of us that believe in God, and we do pray, remember that in your prayers daily, and hopefully that helps and makes a difference and makes it a little bit better in somebody's life that is suffering right now. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. God bless.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, the highways are really in pretty good shape right now. I'm still seeing a delay, though, not a jam, but it's still slow. Westbound 70 approaching Warrenton. Just before Warrenton, we had a crash earlier, but the delays aren't even midway back to the Wright City West area. So just a very short slowdown running through there westbound, and nobody eastbound slowing for a look. There's still delays on southbound 94 from 64 down to D. In fact, that's more bumper to bumper now, a slow 10, 20 minutes ago. So a little more volume there, but the rest of the area interstates on both sides of the river look great. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years and wishing you the best of the holiday season. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition, sponsored by CVS Health.
I'm Christopher Cruz in Washington. The U.S. Coast Guard is actively pursuing an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela this morning. The story from CBS's Willie James Inman.
If it catches up with the tanker, it would be the third such seizure this month. The president announced last week a full blockade of all sanctioned vessels going into or out of Venezuela. There's growing bipartisan concern about the end goal of the military action, especially as the president said in an interview Friday he would not rule out war against Venezuela.
A 60-minute story on the infamous Sikot prison in El Salvador was pulled from the broadcast last night. In a statement to the New York Times, CBS News editor-in-chief Barry Weiss wrote, "My job is to make sure that all stories we publish are the best they can be. Holding stories that aren't ready for whatever reason, that they lack sufficient context, say, or that they are missing critical voices happens every day in every newsroom. I look forward to airing this important piece when it's ready." More from CBS's Jim Crisula.
In a scathing social media post, 60 Minutes correspondent Sharon Alfonsi wrote that when a segment, quote, fails to air without a credible explanation, the public will correctly identify this as corporate censorship. Alfonsi went on to say the story was screened 5 times and was cleared by both CBS attorneys and Standards and Practices. CBS News has issued a statement saying the story will air in the future after additional reporting.
A Russian general was killed today when a bomb exploded under his car in a residential neighborhood of Moscow. CBS's Holly Williams says investigators are working furiously to find out who's responsible.
They're pursuing several lines of inquiry, including that the killing may have been orchestrated by Ukraine's intelligence services.
2 other Russian generals were assassinated in the past year. At least one person has died in Redding in Northern California, which has been pounded in recent days by heavy rain and flooding.
We came out for just lunch on the town. The rain has kind of thwarted those plans for sure. Pretty much rendered our umbrellas useless too. So that's, umbrellas are definitely not working today.
More than 30 million people are under flood alerts through the middle of this week in California and southern Nevada. Power should be restored to everyone in San Francisco by early this afternoon after Saturday's massive outage. A fire in a substation cut off power to about 130,000 customers. Spiros Johnson owns a market in the city.
It's not only the loss of the meat and everything next door in our dairy, but it's the loss of revenue. And this is like one of our busiest weekends.
Dow futures are up fractionally at this hour. This is CBS News.
Through trusted relationships and national reach, CVS Health is uniquely positioned to simplify care. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's Chicken Pot Pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
It is 7:04, and we've got clear skies, 32 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. When crews responded to a home on fire Sunday morning in North City, they found 2 people inside who had been shot. A 45-year-old woman and a 9-year-old girl were left in critical, unstable condition, Police Department spokesman Mitch McCoy.
It is absolutely sickening, an unspeakable act of violence. We are just working as diligently as we can to try and get answers for a family that is grieving right now.
And McCoy just updated our newsroom. The 9-year-old girl has died from her injuries.
With St. Louis County Executive Sam Page announcing he will not seek re-election, KMOX asked, how would the candidates wishing to replace him address the county's budget crisis?
Republican County Councilman Dennis Hancock says the county needs to cut wasteful spending and find more cost-efficient ways to operate.
We're operating in 2025 with 1985 systems, and we need to look at how are we doing things today and how could we do things better.
Democratic State Senator Brian Williams doesn't disagree.
It's going to be imperative that we look at whether or not there's archaic systems within the county. Look at how do we provide departments with adequate support to ensure that they're good fiscal stewards of taxpayer dollars.
So far, Hancock and Williams will be running unopposed in their August primaries, setting up a potential head-to-head election in the fall of 2026. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A shooting in South County leaves an adult man dead. St. Louis County Police say the killing happened in the America's Best Value Inn, 6600 block of Lindbergh, around 9:30 Saturday night. 47-year-old Jason Maines of Imperial died of his injuries. The investigation reveals Maines and a woman had an altercation leading up to the shooting.
The body of a missing O'Fallon, Missouri man was recovered over the weekend from the Lake of the Ozarks. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, it isn't clear when the 36-year-old went into the water, but his body was discovered Saturday morning around 8:30.
While the temperatures may be warming up now, that will not last forever, and Spire is increasing its customer assistance.
We decided to increase the assisting funding for those with limited incomes.
Spire's community specialist Vonda Cotton tells KMOX the Missouri Public Service Commission allowed Spire to pilot a new customer charge waiver program.
The program will waive Spire's monthly customer's charge by $22. Of course, the customers have to qualify for that particular program, and we basically go by the same requirements as LIHEAP does.
Cotton says more than $23 million comes from federal, state, and Spire assistance. KMOX wanted to know if potential federal cuts will affect the program. Cotton says Spire has other programs that will offset people's financial responsibility or burdens. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
And a reminder, Heat Up St. Louis has been providing assistance to bi-state residents for decades. More information can be found at stlewis.org.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krenz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, Washington University has paused millions of dollars in capital projects due to uncertainty of funding and cuts on the federal level, but plans to build a pair of new student dorms in Clayton is apparently still moving forward.
According to the Business Journal, it would be housing for about 600 students at its South 40 campus on Forsyth. Development costs for the dormitories were not included in zoning documents, and no date has been set for when the project will be heard by the Clayton Plan Commission Architectural Review Board.
It is 7:08, and when we come back, we'll check traffic and weather. Stay with us on Total Information AM.
Listen up, Missouri. If you haven't heard by now, FanDuel Sportsbook is rolling in the Show Me State, and they are kicking things off with an offer that is really tough to beat. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whether you're betting football or basketball or hockey or whatever it is, You can do it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Download the FanDuel app today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri and join the excitement because it has been a lot of fun since it's been live and rolling in the state of Missouri. It is time to play your game with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
7:10. Let's check in with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing great. It is a holiday week, Tom. So I was sort of surprised we started out with those rough crashes on the interstates, but they cleared them before we got to the heart of the rush hour, obviously. But right now, things are smooth sailing. Looking at 55 down in Festus and north of Bayless is fine. Downtown, we're okay. Westbound 64, 5570 across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges, 64 over around Greenmount. I don't see any issues with road work causing delays there. Westbound Highway 70, they cleared that crash. I think it's completely gone now. They had moved it to the shoulder, and now I don't even see a slowdown through the area, so that's a good sign. If you're traveling in on 70 or 64 from Wentzville, that is both those in great shape. Are on the go there. Do still see a bit of a congestion, not a complete jam, but it's still pretty busy on southbound 94 from 64 all the way down past Highway D to Francis Howell High School. But again, interstates and even the major secondaries right now really pretty lightly occupied for you right now. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, times of clouds and sun today and becoming warmer this afternoon, high 55. Partly cloudy tonight, low 46. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun, the high 60. On Wednesday, Christmas Eve, mostly cloudy and balmy, the high 67. Thursday, Christmas Day, intervals of clouds and sun, breezy and warm in the afternoon, high 71. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Clear skies and 32 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:11. Kansas lawmakers are set to vote today on a proposal to lure the Kansas City Chiefs out of Missouri. The plan could replace Arrowhead Stadium with a new facility for major year-round events. Chiefs owner Clark Hunt is expected to attend the meeting.
If passed, the team could announce plans to leave its 53-year-old home at the Truman Sports Complex. The proposal involves the use of star bonds to cover up to 70% of the project's cost, paid off with state revenues. Kansas is in active discussions with the Chiefs, while Missouri lawmakers have been working on their own package to try to keep the team.
Hundreds of Missouri court trials are on hold.
The inmates are sitting in jail awaiting a mental health evaluation to see if they're competent to go to trial. State Representative Brian Seitz wants to speed things up and has pre-filed a bill for the legislative session that starts in January.
We have inmates that have been held, in local municipalities, cities, and so forth, for upwards of a year, awaiting a mental health evaluation.
Seitz tells MissouriNet his bill would require the state to do evaluations within 45 days. The mental health department would also need to submit an annual report showing that they're following the new rules. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
Cash-conscious buyers are making in northern Illinois City one of the hottest markets in the country. We get more from Sarah Herrera.
Rockford, Illinois is now the most popular city in the country for home shoppers, according to Zillow, jumping to number 1 after ranking second last year. Zillow says more than 3 out of 5 views for Rockford listings came from shoppers outside the area, signaling strong relocation interest. Analysts say these mid-sized cities offer jobs nearby, shorter commutes, and breathing room financially without giving up access to major metro economies. Sarah Herrera, News Radio 1059 WBBM.
The Trump administration is reshaping the U.S. diplomatic presence abroad.
The administration is recalling nearly 30 career diplomats from senior embassy posts to replace them with personnel deemed fully supportive of President Trump's America First priorities. 2 State Department officials who spoke anonymously say the chiefs of mission in at least 29 countries were informed last week that their tenures would end in January. All had been appointed during the Biden administration. The officials say the diplomats are not losing their foreign service jobs, but will return to Washington for other assignments should they wish to take them. Africa is the continent most affected, with ambassadors from 13 countries being removed. Second is Asia, with changes coming to 6 countries. I'm Mike Hempen.
I'm Tom Ackerman, and yesterday on Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX, we visited with Hein Bloom, and he gave us a little bit of a warning what was about to happen. Is there urgency to get a trade done immediately? Are you willing to wait until after the holidays? Are you okay with that? How are the Cardinals looking right now in terms of building this roster via trade?
I'd love to be able to get something done before the holidays. There have been very active conversations throughout the industry and with us as well, and it'd be great to be able to do that, I think, just for the sake of continuing to move along in our offseason, as you mentioned. Now, that said, there's no formal deadline. There's nothing, there's really no difference ultimately when you get to February and March between having done it now or having done it in a couple weeks. Obviously, these things, oftentimes these conversations move along at their own pace. And, things don't happen until everybody involved is ready for them to happen. But it would be really nice to get something done.
Well, they did get something done in the form of Wilson Contreras.
Jack does not walk many batters. And here comes the 3-2 pitch, and that's hit high in the air to deep right field. That's back to the wall, and it's gone! Wilson Contreras has homered in 3 straight games.
Wilson Contreras did it often for the Cardinals. Big hits, power hitter, made the move from catcher to first base, and actually performed quite well there defensively as well. Good teammate, well respected. Wilson Contreras has been traded to the Red Sox. The Cardinals are in the mode of a rebuild and are trying to build back their minor league production in the area of pitching specifically, and they received 3 pitchers last night for Contreras. First, Hunter Dobbins, who's actually major league ready. He started for the Red Sox last year, made 11 starts, including a win against the Cardinals at Fenway Park back in April. Tore his ACL in July, needed surgery that ended his season, but he went 4-1 with a 4.13 ERA. They also received 19-year-old Yoiker Fajardo, the 9th-ranked prospect in the Boston system, and Blake Ida, who made 19 starts in Class A. We're going to talk it over with Derek Gould in 5 minutes about this move, Wilson Contreras to the Red Sox for 3 pitchers. Other moves yesterday, the White Sox signed Munetaka Murakami, the 25-year-old Japanese slugger, 2 years, $34 million. The White Sox get a good one there, it does look like. College volleyball, Texas A&M is the national champion for the first time. Congratulations to the Aggies. SLU trying to get back to the NCAA tournament. A little shaky yesterday against New Hampshire, but they got the win at Chaffetz Arena, 93-79. They're 11-1 on the season. The bragging rights game is tonight. Mizzou and Illinois at Enterprise Center, 7 o'clock tip on FS1. Illinois is a 9-point favorite. Mizzou football hired Michigan offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey yesterday to call plays for them. And in the NFL, some teams qualified for the playoffs yesterday when the Steelers knocked off the Lions. They are the Bears and the 49ers. Here's how it is right now in the NFC. The Eagles have clinched not only a playoff spot, but their division. The Bears are in. The Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers are all in. In the AFC, New England is officially in after beating the Ravens last night, and so are the Denver Broncos. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This is Todd Krentz with Krentz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we have helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Selling your business is a major milestone. Before and after the sale, our role is to help cut through complexity and create a clear financial strategy focused on your legacy. We often coordinate with your attorney and CPA to ensure everything is aligned so your plan not only fits today, but continues working for you in the future. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Servicing. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:20, time to check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they look great out there right now, Debbie. I'm not expecting much this week or next week, probably holiday weeks, and a lot of folks have off or are out of town, what have you. But interstate-wise, if you need to get somewhere this morning, shouldn't have a difficulty. I'm seeing still just a little bit of a delay. It really hasn't gotten much worse, but there's still a short jam up on Tesson Ferry through Wells. I know we had signal problems there, I think, over the weekend, so that might still be the case there. Northbound 55 looking good at Festus and north of Bayless. 270 both ways around Ladou's okay. The westbound 70 out through Warrenton's finally completely thinned out. We had earlier delays, some slow traffic basically from a crash they had cleared to the shoulder, but it looks like that's all wrapped up. And southbound 94 pretty well thinned out. Just a short little delay there at Highway D now. Earlier was extending all the way back to 64, so that looks a lot better now for you as well. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Now, this weather is really something for Christmas. First of all, we're going to have a warm one today with a high of 55 degrees, low 46 tonight. That's just an appetizer. Tomorrow, clouds and sun, a high of 60. Wednesday, Christmas Eve, a high of 67. Christmas Day, a high of 71. Breezy and warm in the afternoon. Currently, it's clear in downtown St. Louis, 33 degrees. Weather sponsored by RP Lumber, best service, best value. From touch-up paint to replacement windows, RP Lumber helps you fix your home like a pro, even if you're not. Visit rplumber.com to find a location near you. RP Lumber, best service, best value. Speaking of pros, here comes Derek Gould, beat writer, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, joining us live on KMOX. Derek, good morning. Great to visit with you, my friend.
Good morning. That sounds like going out and playing catch weather on Christmas Day, huh?
I know. I'm
Catch some fly balls, hit some fungos.
Yeah, I'm going to grill and crack open a Budweiser. I don't know. Maybe listen to the Grateful Dead like a summer day. I don't know. I wish I had the ball.
Wild.
I wish I had the ball game on.
No kidding.
Wilson Contreras to the Red Sox. So this developed and came out yesterday. You were part of this breaking coverage. Just your read on this trade to the Red Sox for 3 pitchers.
Yeah, it's another of the moves the Cardinals have made to just collect and accumulate and gather as much pitching talent as possible while taking offers on their veteran players as they pivot in a completely new direction. You think about Just the deals alone that they've made with the Red Sox, and they've completed 2 of them with All-Stars. One is Sonny Gray, and then last night with Wilson Contreras. It's set to be probably formally announced today. You have 2 guys who were signed here in recent years to kind of help the Cardinals regain traction in the division and go and win a division title. It didn't work, and now they're in a really dramatic pivot into planning for the future. And you see that. Both Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras had to waive no trade clauses. Sonny Gray was looking to move, open to move, more open to move than Wilson. Wilson had said to us there at Wrigley Field that his preference was to stay unless a great opportunity came to him, one that fit his family and one that he fit as a player. And he waived his no trade clause to go to the Red Sox, reworked his contract a little bit to get some benefit. And here we are with another move between Chaim Bloom and his former team, and all pitching coming in return.
Yeah, they get 2 prospects, Yoiker Fajardo and Blake Ida, and then Hunter Dobbins, who I recall when he started that game, and people would remember it as the Miles Michaelis game when Miles got blown up at Fenway Park, but Hunter started that game, and I remember the Red Sox and their fans being excited to see him, and he actually pitched pretty well. He went 5 innings and won that game against the Cardinals.
Yeah, he's the headliner of that group, right? He's coming back from injury, had a little bit of had an elbow. I don't know if there's ever a little bit of an elbow. Had elbow soreness pain, came back, and right away in his first game back, injured his knee, required season-ending surgery. So he's coming back from that. It's not an arm surgery, so it's more predictable as far as what they expect to get back. But yeah, he and Richard Fitz, the pitcher that the Cardinals got in the Sonny Gray deal, they're either going to be part of the rotation or they're going to be competing against each other yet again, just in a new town for a spot in the rotation. And there's upside to both of them. Fitz brings a little bit more guarantee at this point, if that makes sense. What he's going to be. He could be more than that if he kind of develops more pitches, if he kind of utilizes what he has a little bit better, maybe adjusts his pitch mix. Whereas Dobbins has the higher, the higher ceiling of that group, and you could see him being a part of this. The Cardinals again are just trying to gather as many starters, Tom, or many pitchers really as possible, Tom, and hope that from quantity this quality emerges.
A 2-part question here. We're assuming then that Alec Burleson becomes the first baseman, and who do you think is next to be traded, if you had to guess?
Burleson becomes the first baseman. That's something that they had talked about and had looked to. So he'll be your everyday first baseman. This kind of frees up somewhat of the overlap out there in the outfield. And also, you think about it, assures that Herrera being DH doesn't complicate things if he cannot catch. So you can see how that alleviates things for the lineup. As far as who's traded next, the Cardinals have, ongoing conversations with teams interested in Jojo Romero, ongoing conversations with teams interested in Brendan Donovan. You have a lot of moving parts with the Brendan Donovan deal because Ketel Marte is also available via trade. And you could see Arizona, if they trade Marte, then being interested in Donovan. The Giants, Mariners, at one point the Red Sox were really interested in Brendan Donovan. So he's continues to get a lot of attention there. And whether or not that, so far that's really kind of slowed the market because everyone's like, all right, well, where does Marte go? Because he could go to the Giants and then change the landscape. It's like a game of musical chairs, right? At this point with the second baseman is who, you don't want to be without a second baseman when the music stops. But right now there are a handful of second basemen available, the first of which Lau moved to Pittsburgh, that you can make a trade for. So it's going to be, it sure appears to be momentum for one of those two, Tom, and the Cardinals just aren't done with their overhaul of this roster.
One final thing, Wilson Contreras, a good man. In fact, he was the St. Louis Baseball Man of the Year at the Baseball Writers Dinner, which tickets are available right now. St. Louis BBWAA.com, Sunday, January 18th. Always a great night at the MAC.
Absolutely. And this year, we have Mason Wynn. He's going to get his Gold Glove. The aforementioned Alec Burleson, Cardinals' new starting first baseman, going to get his Silver Slugger Award. We'll have other honors there as well, including with everybody focused on the future, the player of the year from the Cardinals organization, J.J. Weatherholt, will be there. So, even the dinner is kind of forward thinking at this point with the way the Cardinals are headed.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a baseball fan, it is a great night. What an idea that we just gave you for Christmas, maybe a little something in the stocking, the baseball writers dinner tickets. St. Louis BBWAA.com. Great coverage in the Post-Dispatch, STLtoday.com. Derek Gould, thanks as always.
You bet. And so Taguchi will be at the dinner.
Oh.
Part of the 2006 reunion. So man, I know that people who want to have a little past jolt too, members of the 2006 team will be there.
Oh, man. Merry Christmas to you, unless I talk to you after another trade.
That's right. Yeah, I look forward to it, Tom. Happy holidays. Thanks for having me on.
Same
It's great.
to you. Derek Gould with us on KMOX 728. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's chicken pot pie, the best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Christmas holiday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Christmas holiday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It is 7:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got sunshine and 32 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're traveling in through the South County area this morning, coming in on northbound 55 or really through Jefferson County, it still looks okay at Festus, looks good north of Bayless. Still see brief delays. Tesson Ferry at Wells. There's some slow traffic on eastbound 30 now, east of West Watson, up the hill to 270. But again, it's slow, not a jam. Once you hit 270, north 270 is great from 55 all the way up to Manchester. A little slow north of there in the right lanes up toward the Clayton Road overpass, but that's about the worst of it at that point. Southbound 61 onto 64 or 70, they both look great. Cruising out of Wentzville across the Missouri River bridges. Downtown, there's no delays across the Poplar or Musial Veterans bridges. Everything great on the Illinois side right now as well. And around the Interbelt, 64 is still wide open both ways. Next update at 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
That weather is crazy. If you're just waking up and you're wondering, this week is going to feel more like spring or summer than the end of December. Today, the coldest day of this 5-day forecast at 55 degrees with clouds and sun. Tomorrow, 60, Christmas Eve, 67, Thursday, Christmas, 71, and Friday, 73 degrees. It's 32 out there right now.
It's 7:32 on Total Information AM, and the news continues. A 9-year-old girl has died, and a 45-year-old woman remains in critical, unstable condition after St. Louis City Police think they were shot in a home before someone set the house on fire. It happened early Sunday on Floy Avenue near Leonora, that is in the Walnut Park West neighborhood.
A police chase that began in Fairmount City ended in a deadly crash Sunday morning on I-70 in North St. Louis. St. Louis City Police spokesperson Mitch McCoy explains what happened to a Metro East officer.
At some point during the traffic stop, the officer reached in to try and remove the woman, and then the woman took off, dragging the officer.
The Fairmount City officer gave chase, and the pursuit ended with the woman crashing her car and dying at the scene. St. Louis police say Precious Black was 29 years old. The officer suffered non-life-threatening injuries.
A major employer is closing in a small Macoupin County town. The Georgia Pacific Box Company employs 135 people in Mount Olive, which has a population of 2,200. Resident John Knowles tells the Business Journal it's a real gut punch to the town, and it is going to be tough. A Georgia Pacific spokesperson says demand for boxes has declined since the height of the pandemic.
Menards has agreed to overhaul its rebate program after a coalition of state attorneys general said the company misled shoppers. We get more from Rachel Pearson.
The $4.25 million settlement claims Menards' 11% off advertising implied savings at checkout when customers were actually getting merchandise credit for later use. Several states said those rebate rules were tucked into small print. Investigators also accused Menards of price gouging during the early months of COVID-19 on items like garbage bags and cleaning supplies. Menards must now clearly disclose rebate terms, improve its online rebate tracking system, and give customers a full year to file claims. Illinois is set to receive just under $1 million from the deal.
Hey, it's 7:34. We have our Money Minute next. And the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish?
I never like the bar of soap.
What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the audiologycenterstl.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It is 7:37, and it's time for your money report from Bloomberg, sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. More folks are taking aim at hunting. The number of people hunting surged during the pandemic, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. Hunting operators say this year has been one of their busiest ever. Outdoor equipment chain Tractor Supply say much of the demand for hunting products is coming from younger and often first-time hunters from a wider range of backgrounds.
It will be a quiet week on Wall Street this week, given the Christmas holiday. The highlight is tomorrow's look at the health of the economy with the release of third quarter gross domestic product data, which has been delayed due to the government shutdown. Stock futures are heading for a higher open this morning. And a group of buyout firms taking Clearwater Analytics private in a deal valuing the investment and accounting software maker at $8.4 billion. Clearwater became a public company 4 years ago, but shares have fallen close to 20% this year. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Returns January 22nd through 25th at the America Center. Bring the whole family and explore hundreds of new vehicles from the world's biggest automotive brands. Then get up close and personal with the coolest, most expensive rides ever created at the $1 Million Mile. There's even something for the kids with our Mid-America Chevy dealers sponsored Kids Zone. Get your tickets today at stlautoshow.com. Kids 12 and under get in free. That's stlautoshow.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-822-1490. That's 800-822-1490. 800-822-1490.
'Tis the season, and Quick Trip is turning your phone into the gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving with QT's holidays. From now till the end of the season, when you open the QT app, you'll automatically get one free gift per day. We're talking classic QT treats like coffee, pizza, or donuts, ready to make your taste buds sing carols of joy. Plus exclusive deals from your favorite brands. With a new surprise waiting for you every day, your phone will be stuffed with more treats than your stocking. QT's Holidays. Open the QT app for your daily gift.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. This holiday season, you can be the reason children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach milestones once thought impossible. Your gift provides life-saving care to those who need it most. Please donate today at treeofhope.org and be the reason a child has hope for tomorrow.
Hey, let's get to Roger Brand. He is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're at the peak rush hour point now, Tom, but you wouldn't know it looking at the highways today. Again, it's a holiday week, so I'm not expecting much. We have a little slow traffic north 270, north of Manchester on Clayton Road up to 64, westbound Highway 64. Passing Highway K, looks like maybe a roadwork slowdown there. Eastbound 64, a little slow. Chesterfield Parkway west to Clarkson, but it looks good around the inner belt right now downtown. We're still clear across the bridges for Illinois drivers. Next update is 750 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From our family at Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation to yours. Happy holidays.
You want to hurry this up, Mark? I'm freezing my baguettes off.
Relax, Grandpa. Air Comfort Service is on their way. Aubrey, you're not doing anything. You want to let me know when they get here?
Honey, her eyes are frozen shut. Plus,
avoid a 5-alarm emergency with an HVAC system check from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Learn more at aircomfortservice.com.
It is 7:42 and time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Jill Lundberg, who is already getting out the swim trunks and the hacky sack to deliver this Christmas week forecast.
It's going to be a balmy one, no matter how you slice it, Debbie. Next 6 days, I think, are well above historical averages. Starting out with the coolest of the bunch today at 55 with a mix of sun and clouds, warming up from yesterday's high in the mid-40s. Partly cloudy skies tonight, though 46. Tomorrow, clouds and sun, our high gets to 60. How about 67 on Christmas Eve? Even with a lot of clouds around, it's going to be a balmy day. Thursday, where I think could be one of the warmest on record. The record is 71. That was set back in 1889. We're going for a high of 75 with clouds and sun. And even if we don't get to 75, we still think the record of 71 is in serious trouble. Same thing for the record on Friday. That's 70 from 1942. It looks like that one's going to be broken under partly sunny skies, our high 73, and probably warm Saturday before a front comes through and it turns colder for Sunday at the beginning of next week. Right now, 36 at St. Peter's, 30 in Florissant, partly sunny, 33 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All these people going on their beach vacations. Meanwhile, we got 73 degrees coming this Friday. That's pretty wild. Americans are on the move trying to beat the holiday rush. AAA expects more than 122 million to travel at least 50 miles between now and New Year's, and that is more than 1/3 the population. Airlines say they expect to fly nearly 53 million passengers over the holidays, but there have already been major delays and cancellations. CBS News senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve has more from Los Angeles International Airport.
Deck the airport halls with boughs of flyers as the airlines expect about 2.9 million people a day for the holidays. Not even a widespread power outage in San Francisco could darken holiday spirits for passengers getting ready to start their getaways at SFO.
We're here, hopefully going to make it through security and have a flight in a few hours.
AAA expects the number of flyers to jump 2.3% over last year, despite the potential of winter weather headaches.
If you're dreading that stressful holiday family gathering, there are some tips.
Licensed therapist Kelly Hausman says conversations about politics, religion, or why you're not married yet can raise the stress level. She suggests having an escape plan.
A literal escape plan. Find a bathroom, a bedroom that if you just need a couple minutes to calm down, catch your breath, recalibrate, just get out of there and decompress a little bit.
If the stressful conversation continues, try
changing the topic if it's something that's uncomfortable, or even busting out a board game, turning on something on TV, distracting. You don't have to engage in conversations that you don't want to.
Happy holidays. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Well, you can always talk baseball. Cardinal baseball is a great topic around the holidays, especially if you're into prospects, and the Cardinals have acquired 3 of them. Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, gave us a clue yesterday on Sports on a Sunday Morning that he was pursuing.
Yeah, well, we continue to be very active in conversations, certainly on the trade front, and also continue to be in touch with a number of free agents. I expect as the offseason goes on, whether before the holidays, after the holidays, we do still want to continue to add to this club. I've mentioned in the past our priority on amassing pitching depth. That's not something that ends just with, the trade we made with Sonny.
Then they go right back to the Red Sox this time and trade Wilson Contreras.
Wind up, Allard's pitch, and that is hit high. That's hit deep. That's hit out of here. A goner to left field for Contreras. 9-6 Cardinals in the 9th inning.
The Cardinals trade one of their best hitters, Contreras, to Boston, and the Red Sox get $8 million to cover the remainder of his $41.5 million salary, and the Cardinals get 3 pitchers. Hunter Dobbins, who made 11 starts for the Red Sox last season before injuring his knee in July, 4-1 with a 4.13 ERA. Yoiker Fajardo, a 19-year-old big right-hander, 9th-ranked prospect in the Boston system, 17 starts last year and a 2.25 ERA. And a pitcher by the name of Blake Ika. Take a listen.
So an accomplishment there. He's going to throw the ball off to the third base dugout. Definitely a souvenir he's going to want to keep.
That was a strikeout in his first minor league start, and he didn't stop there.
3-2 offering, chopped along the third base line. Anderson fields it on a hop, fires it to first. A big lunge from Encarnacion, and he's got it for out number 2. Top of the first, no score. Ida's delivery. Cut on and miss, strike 3. Blake Ida works a 1-2-3 inning, picks up
Blake Ida. That's how he started his minor league career. That game, he pitched 5 no-hit innings. He is 22 years old, made 19 starts in Class A. Cardinals liked what they saw, 3.98 ERA. He is now in the Cardinal system. Fajardo, Ida, and Dobbins for Wilson Contreras. We just talked to Derek Gould about the deal, and if you want to hear that, you can go back on the Odyssey app to 722. It'll also be up on our Total Information AM podcast, and of course, we're going to talk a lot about it today on the Gas House Gang, which is every day at noon here on KMOX. College basketball yesterday on KMOX. SLU beat New Hampshire 93-79. The bragging rights game is tonight at Enterprise Center, Mizzou and Illinois. Illinois is a 9-point favorite, 7 o'clock tip-off tonight. Mizzou football hired Michigan offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey. He is thought to be somebody very experienced to call plays. That's what Eli Drinkwitz wanted, somebody who's been around for a while. He was in North Carolina and helped develop Drake May, the Patriots quarterback, who helped New England to a win last night over Baltimore, officially putting them in the playoffs, also making it yesterday. The Bears and the 49ers, they both made it when Pittsburgh beat Detroit in a matchup yesterday afternoon. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals. Congratulations to Texas A&M. They win the college volleyball national championship for the first time. This is America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
A trailblazer for women in St. Louis broadcasting, Ann Keefe brought intelligence, fairness, and integrity to every story she touched. Joining KMOX at a time when few women held newsroom roles, Keefe quickly earned the trust of listeners with her clear reporting and unwavering professionalism. On At Your Service, her interviews became must-listen moments, thoughtful, tough, and always balanced.
With a television, a video terminal display, and a telephone at his side on the beach, Richard Deal may be setting up a whole new trend in business. Incidentally, it's a pretty good way to cut back on office rent. I'm Ann Keefe.
Ann Keefe opened doors for generations to come and helped build KMOX's reputation as a station committed to accuracy, fairness, and the community it serves. Ann Keefe, a KMOX pioneer.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. TSO, timeless and everlasting. Don't miss the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Lost Christmas Eve, produced by Live Nation. For more details, KMOX.com/events.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:51 and the sun is shining. We do have a few clouds in downtown St. Louis. We'll get to the forecast in just a moment. Let's find out more about the roadways from Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the roadways look great, Debbie. We only have one interstate problem right now. It's a crash that popped up a few minutes ago. Southbound 270 south of Tesson Ferry. I'd call it before 55, I guess. But the two left lanes are shut down. It is southbound, opposite direction rush hour flow, but there is a jam just south of Tesson Ferry on South 270. Again, two left lanes shut down at the crash scene. We have a little bit of a backup on westbound 64. They're doing road work west of K. It's bumper to bumper approaching Highway K right now. And eastbound 64, a little slow at the Interbelt. Westbound 64, we have a crash just past Hanley, so there's a backup pretty close to Big Bend there. So all of a sudden, getting a couple of problem spots. Not creating terrible jams, though, thankfully. And on the Illinois side, interstates continue to roll along nicely. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast, just amazing weather for the week. We're going to have a high of 55 degrees today with clouds and sun. And then after a partly cloudy sky tonight, low 46. Get ready for some warmth for Christmas. A high of 60 tomorrow, Christmas Eve 67, and Christmas Day, we're going to get a high of 71 that afternoon. Right now, it's 33 in Florissant, 33 in St. Peter's with some clouds there, mostly sunny and 33 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. A North St. Louis County woman died in a house fire early Sunday while her husband was able to get out safely. County police tell us that foul play is not suspected at this time. That fatal fire happened in the 6800 block of Park Road near Route 367. The St. Louis Regional Bomb and Arson Squad is looking into the matter, which is typical when a death is involved.
There's more to charitable giving than just writing a check. WBBM's Rob Hart has a suggestion.
The time of year when charities and nonprofits receive the bulk of their donations, and the American Red Cross of Illinois is no exception. Communications Director Connie Esparza says you can also give the gift of your time. She says Red Cross volunteers are on the scene to lend a helping hand to homeowners who are the victims of a fire, flood, or other natural disaster.
When the news crew has left the scene, when the fire department has put out the fire, the Red Cross is still there. They may be on a warming bus right with all the residents that were displaced. And we, in that moment, will make sure that everybody has a safe place to stay. That's our priority always.
A Midwest-based company is looking for people who want to break out of their shell and go a little nuts.
They're called Peanutters, and Planters wants to add some to their team. It involves driving around the country in a peanut-shaped nutmobile, which is set to hit the road in June 2026. For 1 year, Peanutters create content for social media channels, serve as brand ambassadors, and interact with the media. They're looking for college graduates. The application process begins at beapeanutter.com.
Irresistibly Planters.
Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Here's a holiday treat you probably didn't consider.
It's the most wonderful time.
For truffle ramen noodles? That's right. It's a tradition Momofuku Noodle Bar in New York City launched in 2018.
I think it is kind of such a luxurious dish.
Chef de cuisine Stefan Go says truffle butter is added to the noodles, which are then topped with the delicacy.
We also put in a raw egg yolk on top, chives, a good amount of shaved black truffles, Perigord truffles.
Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.
Well, if you feel like the Grinch is stealing your Christmas, maybe your Christmas tree is to blame.
Rocking around the Christmas tree.
Wasn't that fun? Putting up your tree, turning on the twinkle lights, and hanging your favorite ornaments. Now comes the party crasher. Allergies. It doesn't matter if it's fake or real. Bringing a Christmas tree into your home can bring with it pollen, dust, and insect droppings. One study finds 7% of allergy patients can link respiratory or skin symptoms back to Christmas trees. If you can't live without one, experts recommend stocking up on allergy meds, cleaning artificial trees that have been in storage all year, and dusting off your ornaments regularly. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The Powerball jackpot for tonight's drawing is now an estimated $1.6 billion. It's the fifth largest lottery prize in U.S. history. Bob Wayner lives in the Atlanta, Georgia area.
My wife encourages me to buy a ticket because she wants to go on a big trip and she wants to do something good in society. And she thought, well, we can do both if we win, for crying out loud. In fact, what would we do with all that money anyway? We've got to give some of it away.
The biggest jackpot in U.S. history was more than $2 billion back in 2022.
It is now 7:56. This is Total Information AM.
I'm Sean Malone. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
We're about to turn 100 officially on Christmas Eve. The MAC is a little older than us. 1903 is when they started. Downtown St. Louis, 405 Washington Avenue. Also located at 1777 DePere Road in Town and Country. And coming soon, the MAC Clayton. That's going to be great. That opens in the spring. Can't wait to check that out. They'll have spectacular views, dining, and entertainment options, plus a floor for athletics as well. Yes, they're going to have workout facility at the MAC Clayton. Really good time all around. Looking forward to that. The Missouri Athletic Club has been great for our family. It's been great for many families in St. Louis for a long, long time. The kids love the MAC. They love visiting with Santa, both the downtown and at the MAC West. They have fabulous rooms and gatherings at West and downtown for people to enjoy the holidays. And it's tradition that all the great sports banquets are at the MAC, from the Jack Buck Awards, which we just had on December 8th, to the Herman Trophy, which is on January 9th, to the Blues Hall of Fame, to the Baseball Writers Dinner, to the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, the USBWA Awards in the spring. On and on it goes. The Missouri Athletic Club hosts just about all of them, it seems like. The mac-stl.org.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, it looks like just the left lane's blocked now for this crash. Southbound 270 before 55, by midway between Tesson Ferry and 55. Traffic's backed up at Tesson Ferry. South 270, it's not impacting North 270 at all. North 270 looks great. That crash, got a better look at it. Westbound 64. It's right at the 170 exit. It's between the highway and the exit ramp, and it looks to me like it's on the right shoulder now. Westbound 64, not a solid jam, but it's pretty heavy back just west of McCausland. We'll call it, I guess, about Bellevue out to that point. Downtown, we're still clear. Westbound looking great for Illinois motorists across the Poplar Musial Veterans Bridges, and we have roadwork going on westbound 64 west of Highway K. There's a jam back pretty close to 94 now there. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years and wishing you the best of the holiday season. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Christopher Cruz. American forces could soon seize a third oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. The story from CBS's Willie James Inman.
The U.S. official says the Coast Guard is pursuing a sanctioned shadow fleet vessel. It's the latest part of a pressure campaign on the Venezuelan government, as a new CBS News poll shows that Americans are looking for clarity on U.S. intentions in the region.
The Department of Homeland Security said today it will now pay $3,000 to undocumented migrants who agree to leave the U.S. by the end of this month. That is triple the exit bonus it's been paying. Included in the deal, airfare to the migrants' home countries and a waiver of some fines and penalties. The Justice Department has released tens of thousands of Epstein files and plans to release even more, but Democrats and some victims of the sex offender aren't satisfied. CBS's Scott McFarland spoke with survivor Annie Farmer.
There's an awful lot of redactions, an awful lot. You don't seem surprised by that.
I think we have all prepared ourselves for what redactions might look like, and that they could be used to continue to protect predators and protect other people in power.
Americans are headed east, west, north, and south this holiday week, possibly in record numbers. CBS's Chris Van Cleve reports from Los Angeles.
That holiday rush is just getting started here at LAX this morning. It was a challenging weekend, more than 25,000 delays, more than 1,300 cancellations. Today should be better, but we're watching West Coast storms, the FAA watching for delays in San Francisco and Newark as millions are on the move.
At an NFL game, there's players and then there's those who buy a ticket, and the two shouldn't meet.
Pittsburgh Steelers receiver DK Metcalf appeared to throw a punch at a fan leaning over a railing beyond an end zone at Ford Field during the second quarter of the game with Detroit.
Our cameras happened to catch it. DK Metcalf had mixing it up with someone in the stands.
The two-time Pro Bowler did not seem to make much contact, if any, with the man who was wearing a black and blue shirt and blue wig. Metcalf wasn't penalized since the referees didn't see the incident. The Steelers won the game 29-24. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
In Spain today, the winning numbers for the worldwide Christmas lottery jackpot known as El Gordo, the fat one, were sung out by children. Less than half an hour before the opening bell, Dow futures are up, but not by much. S&P 500 futures are up almost 0.5%. NASDAQ up more than 0.5%. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
It is 8:03, and we've got sunshine, a few clouds moving through downtown. It's kind of windy out there. 33 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey. A 9-year-old girl has died. A 45-year-old woman in critical, unstable condition after being found shot inside a home in North City Sunday morning. The house had been set on fire. This incident took place just after midnight in the 5700 block of Floy. St. Louis police spokesman Mitch McCoy says family members are devastated.
We ask that St. Louisans come together and pray for them right now. They need as many prayers as they can get, trying to survive an unthinkable tragedy. We have many questions. Our homicide detectives are working right now to get those answers.
Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. A Saturday night fight between a man and woman escalated to the point of the woman shooting and killing the man. St. Louis County Police say this happened around 9:30 at a motel in the 6600 block of South Lindbergh. They identified the victim as 47-year-old Jason Maines of Imperial. The woman has been interviewed, they say, and their investigation remains active. One Republican and one Democrat currently running to follow outgoing St. Louis County Executive Sam Page. KMOX asked, how do they approach the biggest issue, balancing the county government budget?
Democratic State Senator Brian Williams and Republican Councilman Dennis Hancock both believe the county needs to find ways to operate more efficiently in order to close the budget gap. Brian Williams says his experience on the Missouri State Senate Appropriations Committee makes him a good candidate to fix the county's budget problems.
I've had the opportunity to balance a budget with a record surplus for several years now.
Councilman Dennis Hancock says the county needs to prove it is responsibly maintaining the budget before potentially increasing revenue.
We need to make sure that we're being good stewards of their money and being able to prove that we're good stewards of their money and that we're not wasting their money.
Last week, the county council passed a budget that includes a 9% cut. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
This year has brought unprecedented need in the St. Louis area. Now Spire has started a new program acknowledging that need.
If you're finding it difficult to pay your gas bill, Spire's community outreach specialist, Vonda Cotton, says there's not just one program, there are several, including Dollar Help.
Customers are able to pledge or donate $1 or more a month. They can do that by logging online to my account or just by checking the box on their billing monthly statement. It's a program that I actually donate to as well. And as the community outreach specialist, I get to see the positive impact that the program makes in the community.
The Missouri Public Service Commission also granted Spire the ability to increase funding for people with limited incomes.
Customers who are experiencing some sort of medical emergency, and what it does, it suspends potential disconnects of their service up to 30 days. Along, of course, Spire, along with other utility providers.
Spire abides by the cold weather rule, meaning the utility cannot cut off people's gas during extreme cold. KMOX also asked if they are shutting off people's gas in the tornado zone. Cotton says they are not, nor have they. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
A Missouri state lawmaker says it's time to speed up mental health evaluations for inmates. Representative Brian Seitz tells MissouriNet hundreds of trials are on hold because evaluations are lagging behind.
If an incarcerated individual had a physical problem, a broken bone, something wrong with their teeth, something physically going on, they would be seen and treated in a timely manner. Mental health is just as important.
And it determines whether a person is fit to stand trial. Seitz has pre-filed a bill that would require mental health evaluations be done within 45 days. Right now, some inmates are waiting in jail for up to a year. Kansas lawmakers set to vote today on a proposal to lure the Chiefs football team out of Missouri. That plan could replace Arrowhead Stadium with a new facility for major year-round events. Meanwhile, the interim county executive in Jackson County, Missouri, says not so fast. Phil Lavoda is pushing Operation Save Arrowhead.
Our message is a lot better. Their message was, speculation, there's a meeting, might be going. We've got facts, we've got meat, we've got bones.
We're told the Kansas proposal involves the use of star bonds to cover up to 70% of the project's cost, paid off with state tax revenues. From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, the Wheelhouse will ring in the new year and then close. The large downtown bar and restaurant on Spruce near Busch Stadium had made headlines during the COVID pandemic when it and the Start Bar were open in violation of public health orders. Earlier this year, Wheelhouse was the site of an officer-involved shooting that killed a man. On the Wheelhouse's social media, a message reads, "We are endlessly grateful to everyone who walked through our doors the last 11 years and made Wheelhouse what it was." We'll check traffic and weather coming up. Stay with us here on Total Information AM.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, FanDuel Sportsbook is live here in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that is really tough to beat. So right now, new customers can bet $5 and then get $300 in bonus bets. Whether you win or lose that initial $5 bet, you get those $300 bonus bets either direction. And it doesn't matter what you're choosing. Whether it's football, basketball, hockey, you can bet it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. I've been on it since the app launched years ago. I just couldn't play in Missouri until now. Now I get to, and you can do. So download FanDuel today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to join in on the excitement, because Missouri, it's time to play your game with FanDuel. Remember, 21 and older and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-269-3454. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-269-3454 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-269-3454 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-269-3454.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 8:10, time for traffic and weather. The weather is ridiculous for this time of year, although many of you will really enjoy it. You won't need your coats for Christmas. Maybe a baseball game in the yard. Who knows? Anyway, we'll get to that in just a second. First, here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news on 270, Debbie. They cleared that crash out 270 before 55. Left lane's back open. It is still slow at Tesson Ferry, but it'll probably thin out pretty quickly, I would think. We have a new crash northbound on Tesson Ferry, south of Butler Hill. Traffic's jammed about midway back to Wells. Lane blockage there, and that one on the right shoulder, that crash westbound 64 at 170 has traffic backed up at about Big Bend, and then westbound 64, you've got a roadwork back up west of 94 through Highway K. They're working just west of there. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A mix of clouds and sun today and becoming milder this afternoon, high 55. Partly cloudy tonight, though 46. Tomorrow, mild with intervals of clouds and sun, high 60. On Wednesday, Christmas Eve, mostly cloudy, but very mild, the high 67. Thursday, Christmas Day, clouds and some sunshine, breezy, and even warmer, the high 71. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is officially mostly sunny, although I do see some clouds moving through downtown St. Louis. It's 34 degrees at 8:12. While the holidays may be joyous for many of you, abuse increases on or around major holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. A woman who's had a bird's eye view of all of this is Meg Groff, a family court attorney and author. Her new memoir is Not If I Can Help It, a family lawyer's battle for justice for victims of domestic violence and the poor. Thanks for joining us, Meg.
Happy to be here.
Now, these types of cases that we're talking about where there is abuse, alleged abuse, child custody battles, divorce, it's also fraught with emotion. And then we pack it all inside of a courtroom where things don't always go well. And if you're representing people who don't have a lot of money, there's not always much money in it for you either. So what kept you going all those years?
I think it's a passion of mine. It was something that I went to law school to do. And it was very rewarding. It certainly wasn't financially rewarding, but it was rewarding in every other way, in ways that many lawyers don't get to experience.
How are you using what you've learned over those years now to change the current system, or at least try to?
Well, I've always been an advocate as well as a lawyer outside in terms of trying to organize to get things better. Laws across the family laws are different in every state, and they need amending in every state. Missouri specifically has very bad custody laws and very unprotective for children. And so right now I'm working on a campaign to try to pass what we call Cadence law in every state in the country. It has passed in 10 states at this point. And it's not always called Cadence law because that was named after a child here in Bucks County where I live who was murdered by her father when she was in his court-ordered unsupervised custody, despite the fact of how dangerous he was. And in some other states it has passed with other children's names because many children have died in the custody of abusers that are their parents. And the purpose of it is to make the laws prioritize the safety of children. So they have these factors to decide like what's in the best interest of children to help judges decide. And we want the factor of domestic violence and safety issues for children to be the weighted factor, to be the most important one. We want judges to have evidence-based training so that they can make wise decisions. We want to restrict expert testimony and people that give their advice as to what order should be entered to have actual expertise in domestic violence and clinical experience. And we don't want children to be forced into like reunification therapies because they are afraid of a parent who is an abuser. So those are kind of the goals of it. And we're working to try and get it passed across the country.
Wow, yeah, that is a tall order, I would think, in Missouri. I'll have to check and see if we have anything like that in the works.
No, you don't at the moment. But, we're getting to you. We're going to give it a try.
Now, I imagine in your time you have had cases like this where a child has gone to a parent and something awful has happened?
Yes, I did. I had one case where a child was murdered, a couple cases where the mother was murdered, but I did have one where the child was murdered. It was after I had represented, a woman had left our jurisdiction. She had moved to Philadelphia. We're in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And so she had a different lawyer at the time who didn't feel as strongly as I did about fighting for supervised visitation. And he got supervised from his parents who were as afraid of him as she was and as the children were. And he murdered himself and the child.
Now, there are people who are advocating often for fathers' rights and for the rights of men in these cases. And people might hear this and say, oh, we're just talking about women. And what about men who are abused? So how do you, in your experience, how often did you see men in similar situations?
I didn't see it in custody situations. I did represent men, but it's rare that the woman is the abuser in a way that would rise to the level of getting a protection order. Just in terms of physical strength, it it doesn't usually happen. But men are nonetheless targeted. They are targeted. Like I've represented a number of elderly fathers who were abused by their adult sons. I've represented brothers. I've represented a gay partner who were abused. So it does happen, and I know that fathers' rights is a big thing in custody. Because of the belief somehow that women always get custody, but it's not true actually. Women do get primary custody more often than men, but mostly that is by agreement. Most custody arrangements are done by agreement. There's no real large abuse issue involved. But when you go to court, when there's a fight about it, women don't always come out on top at all. I believe that custody should not be a question of father's rights or mother's rights. I think it really is a right of the child to be safe and loved in any situation that he or she is placed in.
Well, I wish you success in changing the laws and addressing all of those issues that you listed for us. And also, if people want to check out this memoir of yours, Not If I Can Help It, it was actually named Best Memoir of the Year in the Book Life Nonfiction Prize contest. So congratulations. Also,
yes, thank you.
Yeah, the independent publishers, it was, let's see, one of the 4 finalists for a grand prize by Publishers Weekly. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Well, we can all learn something, and hopefully people stay safe this holiday season. And before we let you go, if you had one piece of advice maybe for women who are listening to this right now and in a situation, I know there's lots of advice and very little time, but what would be a key piece of advice for them to follow at this time if they're experiencing abuse?
That's a tough one in terms of one piece of advice, but I would say that it's important not to keep abuse a secret, to seek help or to seek guidance, to seek supportive people around you that people know, to work towards being able to get out.
All right. Well, I wish you the best holiday. Meg Groff is our guest. Again, the memoir is Not If I Can Help It. Thanks for sharing your story with us on KMOX.
Thank you so much.
It is 8:19, and coming up, we are going to talk more about the situation in Venezuela. Of course, you probably know about the fishing vessels that are being blown up in the water, but now the United States is seizing oil tankers. Why? Well, we'll see if we can sort that out in a moment. But first, let's see if we can sort out any issues that are blocking your path to work this morning, or maybe you're just doing some holiday shopping. Roger Brand is joining us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we still got a few issues out there right now, Debbie. This traffic reports a service of financial and tax strategies. They're still working this crash northbound Tesson Ferry, south of Butler Hill. Traffic's jammed back to about Wells right now. In fact, it looks like there may be another incident a little closer to Wells. That one's still on the shoulder, crash or a stall. I can't tell which. Westbound 64, right at the 170 ramp, so traffic's backed up at about Big Bend. And then they have the left lanes closed for road work westbound 64 to West Decay, and we have a short backup there as well. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a pretty warm week, so you can put the winter coats away. 55 degrees today, a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow as well, with a high of 60. 67 Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, 71. Right now it is 33 degrees downtown.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
It's easy to feel apprehensive about getting screened for cancer or to just keep putting it off. But Siteman Cancer Center wants to remind you how important it is, especially after the age of 40. And they also want you to know how easy it is to get it done. GetScreenedNow.com has all the information you need on cancers like prostate, breast, colon, lung cancer. You can also find out your risk of disease by answering just a few simple questions. And then you can find one of the hundreds of screening locations in the area. Even if you're a little farther out, there is probably a place near you. You have heard this before, but catching cancer early dramatically increases the odds of a successful treatment, especially with so many cancers showing up earlier in life. So do not be intimidated. Siteman will make the process as simple as possible. GetScreenedNow.com. Do it for your family and friends who count on you. Do it for yourself. Visit GetScreenedNow.com.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-848-2299. 800-848-2299. Again, that's 800-848-2299.
This holiday season, when you get them Steel, batteries are included. Buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for gift ideas and seasonal savings. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
It is now 8:23. Total Information AM continues. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and the Trump administration has been going after fishing vessels off the coast of Venezuela, blowing them up. So far, more than 100 people reportedly killed, but the United States now also going after and seizing oil tankers. CBS White House correspondent Olivia Rinaldi is joining us. And Olivia, what is happening with the oil tankers? What's the issue?
Well, good morning. Yes, it seems to be an intensifying campaign around the coast of Venezuela from the U.S. Coast Guard and U.S. military trying to interdict what they're calling a shadow fleet of sanctioned oil tankers that are operating in and out of Venezuela. So last week, the president on True Social announced an oil blockade for these sanctioned oil tankers. After that, we have seen a significant ramping up of seizures of these tankers. So we know that the U.S. military seized the Skipper, right? That was that oil tanker a few weeks ago that the U.S. military released that video of them getting on this oil tanker, seizing it. We expect that tanker to be brought into Texas sometime today, so we could be getting images of that, which is quite notable. But we're told over the weekend that they were in pursuit of a second and third tanker. Officials told CBS News that the sanctioned dark fleet vessel they were in pursuit of is part of Venezuela's illegal sanctions evasions. They say that this boat in particular was flying under a false flag and a judicial seizure order, which is why they were pursuing it. But it really just amounts to this intensification of President Trump's campaign against Venezuela. Later today, he's expected to deliver remarks in Florida, where he's supposed to be on his Christmas vacation, but he'll be delivering remarks with the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, and the Secretary of the Navy. Now, it seems like that will be about Venezuela. We don't know quite yet, but just reading the tea leaves here, it seems like it might be about that. So we'll be watching to see what the president has to say later today that would pull him away from his Christmas vacation and golf to make this announcement.
I know people are wondering what legal right does the United States have to do this, and does Congress, are they supposed to be weighing in on this?
So it's a good question. As far as Congress is aware, there's been a lot of bipartisan pushback to this campaign, particularly after we saw those double tap strikes in early September on the first strike on the alleged Venezuelan drug boats. We saw a bipartisan condemnation of a second strike on the alleged survivors of that boat, and certainly a lot of questions from lawmakers about what we are actually doing in Venezuela. But so far, there's been no really mounted effort pushback to claw back some of President Trump's ability to do those strikes. They say they are operating under the pretense of killing alleged narco-terrorists. It's the same pretense they used to fight al-Qaeda in the early 2000s. So legally, they feel that they're on good ground. Now, all of the tankers that they're seizing are sanctioned and have been sanctioned for a while. So because of that, they feel that they are evading legal procedures and they are allowed to interdict them. But certainly the Venezuelan government is calling this an illegal seizure, and they're really pushing back internally and externally by making a lot of noise around the intensification of these campaigns against their government, and particularly against the government of Nicolas Maduro, who is the president of Venezuela, who the U.S. says is wrongly in that role, and that he had seized his election. So there's a lot of effort from this government to apply that pressure, and certainly we're expecting that to intensify over the next coming days.
Olivia Rinaldi is CBS White House reporter. Thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
It is 8:28, and we will take a break here and check the weather and the roadways. And another big story over the weekend was the release of the Epstein files, but it wasn't everything that was supposed to come out. So we'll discuss that next.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's chicken pot pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer, and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
'Tis the season, and Quick Trip is turning your phone into the gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving with QT's Holidays. From now till the end of the season, when you open the QT app, you'll automatically get 1 free gift per day. We're talking classic QT treats like coffee, pizza, or donuts, ready to make your taste buds sing carols of joy. Plus exclusive deals from your favorite brands. With a new surprise waiting for you every day, your phone will be stuffed with more treats than your stocking. QT's Holidays. Open the QT app for your daily gift.
It is now 8:30, and it's time for us to check in with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we still have our incidents on Highway 64. This traffic reports a service to the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. That minor crash on the shoulder westbound 64 right at the 170 exit. Traffic's just a little slow past it. That doesn't even look like it's really all that busy once you get until you get past Hanley, really. So a very brief delay. And then roadwork delays westbound 64 approaching K. They're working in the left lanes west of K. It's down to 1 lane there and a little bit of a backup. Northbound 270 just a touch slow at 64, and they're still working this crash. It looks like northbound on Tesson Ferry south of Butler Hill. Traffic's jammed north of Wells up to that scene. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers, an important decision, and should not be based solely on advertising.
It is going to be ridiculously warm this week. I mean, I don't think we're complaining. If we can't have a white Christmas, might as well be 70, right? 55 today, 60 tomorrow, 67 Christmas Eve, and 71 degrees on Christmas Day. Right now, it is 34 degrees with sun and clouds in downtown St. Louis. It's now 8:32, and the Trump administration was required to release the Epstein files Friday, and they did, sort of. Joining us is CBS Justice Department correspondent Scott McFarland. Scott, what exactly was missing from this huge dump of documents?
Well, there's an awful lot that's not there because of redactions. I mean, the redactions, the blacked out pages are prodigious in this first batch. And it caught some people off guard because the law that required this release required the full Epstein files with minimal redactions. But that's only part of the issue here because it was only a partial release to begin with. We don't know what percentage of overall records have been released, but it could be microscopic because the Deputy U.S. Attorney General says they're going to release hundreds of thousands more pages in the coming weeks. There's no indication of a date certain. There's no indication of 100% will ever get released. And that does run counter to the law requiring a full release of fulsome documents by last Friday.
And it does seem that there are congressmen who are pushing back, including mostly Representative Massey and Representative Khanna, who have been fighting for this release all this time.
Yeah, and they both have indicated that there's some next steps they're considering in Congress, maybe another bipartisan coalition like the one that formed to pass the law requiring this release. But this time, the bipartisan coalition could consider some type of inherent contempt motion, which would provide, I tell you, some monetary fines or penalties against Justice Department leaders who haven't released the full files. They're talking about impeachment articles. That's just a political argument. There's no true pathway to impeaching anybody here. But it sure shows that the Trump administration has failed to turn the page on the Epstein files controversy by this first release. It seems like they've only fueled the controversy.
Right. There was a picture apparently of President Trump with Jeffrey Epstein that was on a website and then was taken down. And then after some criticism went back up. I think people do expect there would be redactions, but when they're showing documents where there's literally 5 words on a page and everything else is crossed out, it does cause you to scratch your head.
Yeah, and that's the whole problem, isn't it? Because the allegation that precipitated this whole release was that there was some type of cover-up for powerful people or people who were close to power. And heavy redactions, that's the last thing you want to do if you're trying to put out the fires of conspiracy theories and that you're covering up for people. No matter how meritorious or how justified the redactions, no matter whether those redactions are right or wrong, the redactions themselves fuel this fire. And I think that's what the Trump administration is experiencing today, and perhaps it's what they expected, because there may be no way to convince the public you released everything, even if you did.
What's the next step? Are we just going to be waiting to see what else comes out?
Yeah, and that doesn't help the cause either, but the Justice Department has not given a firm date for the next batch, assuming there is a next batch. So everybody will wait. And as they wait, the mystery of when and what persists. Not the way to stay on message for the Trump administration, but it is the reality of this moment. And the Deputy Attorney General was unequivocal yesterday, saying he is fighting to protect victims, and that is the priority and the reason for the slower and heavier redacted releases.
Correspondent Scott McFarland, CBS Justice Department correspondent. Thanks so much for the time, as always.
Anytime.
It is 8:36. And did you buy a puppy, or are you looking for a puppy? The puppy scam's still out there. That's coming up a little bit later this hour. Stay with us here on KMOX.
Christmas has arrived at Chesterfield Valley Nursery with hundreds of Christmas trees and our winter greens. Visit our garden center for your live holiday decor, from garland to poinsettias to custom live wreaths made right here at Chesterfield Valley Nursery. Open to the public, everyone is welcome. Stop by 16825 North Outer 40 Road in Chesterfield, directly past the popular entertainment district. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It is 8:37. Time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantler and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Lots of folks have been worried about higher prices and a stagnant job market, but they're still sparing no expense on holiday decorations and gifts. Numbers suggest spending is up significantly from last year, and the volume of people out there shopping is also at an all-time high. According to the National Retail Federation, almost 203 million Americans shopped during the 5 days from Thanksgiving to Cyber Monday, blowing past the trade group's predictions. Checking on your money, stocks are heading for gains. It seems investors are buying up shares of technology companies this morning. Trading volume is set to be thinner this holiday-shortened trading week. And Disney's Avatar: Fire and Ash was the highest-grossing film at the box office this weekend, with $88 million worth of tickets sold in the U.S. and Canada. Fire and Ash caps a strong year for Disney's film business, with Lilo and Stitch and Zootopia 2 both generating more than $1 billion each at the global box office. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It is now 33 degrees. It'll warm up to 55. That's from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center. Did you know that 3 out of 4 of Ernest Hemingway's wives were from St. Louis? We've got that story coming up next.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman, and I have a great idea for something you can do with all this warm weather we're having this week. Test drive a Genesis at Genesis of St. Charles. What a great place to do it. 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway, right off I-70, off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. You'll enjoy a Genesis. I saw one right in front of me on the highway the other day, and it looked amazing. Saw another one yesterday and thought I could make my way out to Genesis of St. Charles just to have a good time with Shay, the general manager, and all the people there. It is their signature event. They want your trade. They're willing to pay more for it on any new Genesis purchase, and every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Unlock that e-price at genesisofstcharles.com. You'll be very happy with the people and the cars, of course, at Genesis of St. Charles. genesisofstcharles.com.
Listen up, Missouri. If you haven't heard by now, FanDuel Sportsbook is rolling in the Show Me State, and they are kicking things off with an offer that is really tough to beat. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whether you're betting football or basketball or hockey or whatever it is, you can do it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Download the FanDuel app today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri and join the excitement, because it has been a lot of fun since it's been live and rolling in the state of Missouri. It is time to play your game with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Here's Roger Brand with the latest from the roadways in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, we still got a few minor delays out there, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Pine Valley Assisted Living. That incident still on the shoulder, westbound 64 at 170. It's a little slow there. They cleared the crash northbound Tesson Ferry, south of Butler Hill. Looks like we got problems now at Schuessler, and it's jammed from Butler Hill up to Schuessler now, northbound Tesson Ferry. So it's still tough going there. They just cleared a stall. They had the right lane blocked. North 270 at 64. Traffic slow, at least in the right lanes. Back at the Clayton Road overpass and westbound 64 west of K. Roadwork in the left lanes have some delays there as well. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looking for a beautiful, all-inclusive place for your loved one? Happy holidays from Pine Valley Assisted Living. Secure a room between now and January 31st and take advantage of our move-in special. Enjoy affordable rates with absolutely no hidden fees. Experience the beautiful life at Pine Valley. Visit rspseniorliving.com today.
It's going to be 55 today, mix of sun and clouds. Same for tomorrow with a high of 60. Mostly cloudy, 67 Christmas Eve, and clouds and sun on Christmas Day with a high of 71. It's 35 out there right now. St. Louis has boasted a lot of very famous people, but what about Ernest Hemingway? What's his connection to St. Louis? Andrew Theising is the author of Hemingway's St. Louis, How St. Louisans Shaped His Life and Legacy. Thanks for joining me.
I'm happy to be here.
All right, Ernest Hemingway is not from St. Louis.
He is not from St. Louis. He did not spend a lot of time here, but 3 of his 4 wives were from St. Louis.
That is so interesting. One of them, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with her name, but when I found out that it was 3 of the 4, that is it coincidence? Is it because he was well connected in St. Louis? How do we explain this?
I don't think that the wives were necessarily connected outside of Ernest Hemingway. It isn't like one of them led to another. I think he intersected with these people at different places and different times, and it was pure coincidence.
Well, I guess let's start at the beginning with wife number 1. Which one was she?
That was Hadley Richardson.
Hadley Richardson. And she is from a St. Louis family. And how did she meet Ernest Hemingway?
So Hadley was the heiress, basically, of the Richardson Drug Company. Her father was he was a wealthy man. He wasn't a very stable man, but he was a wealthy man. And so Hadley had this trust fund, and she meets Ernest Hemingway through some mutual St. Louis friends, and they hit it off. And it's with Hadley that he moves to Paris, and because of Hadley's trust fund, Ernest can be a full-time writer. He doesn't have to have a side job to pay the bills. Hadley was able to pay all the bills. So we think of Hemingway and Paris in the 20s, and all of that was enabled by the wealth of the Richardson Drug Company.
That was nice of his wife.
That was very nice.
But he wasn't always probably that nice to her. What ended up happening with the 2 of them?
Well, there is a sort of a sad breakup that happens, and people who have read Hemingway's his sort of autobiography, A Movable Feast, he talks about how Hadley was his one true love, but he was another St. Louis woman came in and basically stole him away from Hadley. But Ernest wrote The Sun Also Rises, which is coming up on its 100th anniversary, and he gave that almost as a divorce settlement to Hadley. And so here's this book that's never been out of print, and it provided a revenue stream for Hadley and their son, Jack Hemingway, for the rest of her life.
And who was this woman who stole Ernest away from Hadley?
And that was Pauline Pfeiffer, and she openly sought Ernest and inserted herself in the relationship that he had with Hadley and befriended them both and then stole Ernest away. And she came from the Pfeiffer Drug Company, the Pfeiffer Chemical Company.
Wow.
So another big company here in St. Louis, and it moved on to, as it bought other companies, it moved out of St. Louis and over to New York. And it was Uncle Gus who had been in St. Louis, and Uncle Gus he just showered his favorite niece, Pauline, and Ernest, showered them with gifts and with money. The great African safaris that Hemingway took in the 1930s, Uncle Gus paid for that. The house in Key West, Florida, that is a museum now, Uncle Gus paid for that. So there again, here's this St. Louis money that is enabling Hemingway's life.
Unbelievable. That's good. I guess it's a good thing he met rich women, or we wouldn't be talking about Ernest Hemingway's books 100 years later. Okay, so then wife number 3.
That was Martha Gellhorn. And
Most
the Gellhorn
people
name,
have heard of her.
Yes, she was a prominent journalist and author by the time she met Ernest Hemingway. And so she was a force to be reckoned with. And so Ernest and Martha didn't have a long-lasting relationship. It wasn't good for very long. In fact, Martha said that getting married actually ruined their relationship. They had a nice thing going on, and then they got married. But the Gellhorns had plenty of wealth. She had her own wealth. And so when we think of Hemingway in Cuba, and he had the Finca Vija house, it was Martha that found that house. It was Martha that took out the lease. She renovated it with her own money. And then Ernest sort of took it over. And so we wouldn't have that historic place if it weren't for Martha.
So by this point, Ernest is done with St. Louis women, and number 4 was not a St. Louisan.
That's correct. That's correct. After his marriage to Martha failed, he married a woman from Minnesota.
Well, he stayed in the Midwest at least. Were there other connections with Ernest Hemingway and St. Louis besides the wives? Did he stay in touch with these families?
I don't know that he stayed in touch with any of these families, but one Hemingway's best friend was this man, Bill Smith, and the Smith family was from St. Louis. And so we associate Ernest Hemingway with his youthful years in Michigan. And it was the Smith family from St. Louis that would vacation up in Michigan, to use a title of one of Hemingway's stories. And it was through those summers in Michigan that Ernest met Bill Smith and his sister Katie, and there was another brother who went by his initials YK Smith, and YK was kind of like Don Draper in Mad Men. If you watch that series, he lived this lavish lifestyle in Chicago, and he included Ernest in all of that.
Well, it is a really fascinating book with a lot of great pictures. I see some beautiful Central West End places and some pictures of, well, here's Ernest's men, his group of guys. The book is called Hemingway's St. Louis, How St. Louisan Shaped His Life and Legacy. Andrew Theising is the author. And thanks so much for filling us in on those connections.
You're welcome.
This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. As the year comes to a close, I want to thank our clients, colleagues, and communities for your trust and support. We're especially proud of the Stifel U.S. ski team. Their drive, resilience, and pursuit of their goals this winter reminds us what's possible when we stay committed. From all of us at Stifel, we wish you and your family a joyful holiday season and a new year filled with health, happiness, and success. Stifel, where success meets success.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
This is Amy Mark Scores, chair of this year's Red Kettle campaign. Christmas reminds us of the challenges faced by our neighbors in need, basic needs we sometimes take for granted. When you give with joy to the Salvation Army, you transform lives. You put food on the table and provide warm beds. You give veterans and seniors purpose. You help a child experience the joy of Christmas. And 90 cents of every dollar donated goes directly to critical social services. Bring joy to the world today. Visit salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores.
Nominations for the 2026 Women of Achievement are now open. The St. Louis Area Award is the oldest ongoing program in the area whose sole mission is to honor and recognize the volunteer service and volunteer leadership of women. If you know an outstanding volunteer in the St. Louis metropolitan area, or if you are one, Women of Achievement wants to hear from you. Nominations, including self-nominations, may be submitted now through January 11th. Head to KMOX.com for more information.
Was a puppy on someone's holiday list, wish list for a gift under the tree? Well, Brian Edwards of the Better Business Bureau is joining me, and he is the International Investigation Specialist for the BBB. And pet scams are still with us. This is something that we started seeing, Brian, during the pandemic because everyone was looking for a dog. But what's the latest right now on where this stands?
Yeah, this continues to be an issue. We can happily report that there's maybe a small downtick in the numbers, but unfortunately they continue to persist even since the pandemic, and some of the trends around pet buying have died off. But what we're seeing is, scammers are targeting some of the top dog breeds that people are looking to buy. They're doing their research and seeing what people want, and specifically kind of targeting those ads. So even as less people are buying, they're getting better at finding the places that people want to go buy animals online.
What are some of the big scams or the things they're doing that are tripping people up the most?
Yeah, so I think and this is very tricky, is what they're doing is they're actually paying for ads on search engines, and before the search engines have realized that these are scams, they'll get bumped up to the top of people's searches. So somebody searches Pomeranians for sale, and sometimes the promoted links at the top will be scams. So that's really getting people quite a bit. And then this has persisted through some of the scams over time, but what scammers are really doing is kind of pushing people to give money multiple times, telling people that the animals are caught up in transit, and they're still extracting a lot of money from people that way, even if that's not the newest technique that they're using.
Are there certain dog breeds that are subject to scams more than others?
Yeah, there are. We're seeing, I've been telling people, if you search top dog breeds of 2025 and you look at the top ones that get listed, you will see that those are the ones that scammers are targeting the most. Labradors, Retrievers, Pomeranians are popular, French Bulldogs, all of these dogs that are quite popular for people to adopt, scammers are honing in on that.
So the scam is that people are doing this online and they think they're actually talking to somebody who has a dog. Do people ever get the dog, or is this just a dog doesn't even exist? It's just kind of a money machine.
The dog does not even exist. You're exactly right, though. People are going online, they're searching to purchase, they think they found a legitimate dog breeder. Sometimes the websites and photos look so legitimate because the scammers have actually stolen, website information, photos from real breeders. But yeah, there's no animal here, but people send a deposit. The scammer says, okay, the animal will be shipped to you, but then there are issues in shipping. They need a vaccination and the person needs to pay for that. They need an air conditioner heated cage and the person has to pay for that. And the scammer will just keep coming up with things that the person needs to pay for until they say, hey, I'm not doing this anymore.
People are so used to basically buying everything and doing everything online, and it's probably going to be difficult to maybe get this message through to some people. But what would you suggest to people who are truly interested in getting a dog?
Yeah, this is a pretty fraught one because people really are quite interested in shopping online nowadays, and we do have some advice if people still are looking to buy a pet online. The key advice that we give to people is that they should ask any breeder that they're thinking of buying from to do a video call, to have the breeder be on that video call, show the puppy that they are going to buy, as well as the mother of the puppy as well. And we have found that is a pretty, we don't like to say anything is foolproof, but that's a really strong way that people can protect themselves in these cases. We did have one secondhand story told to us by the person who runs petscams.com, which is a really great group that focuses on this issue, is they had sat in on a fake pet sale where the scammer was attempting to use AI in a video to pretend to be somebody else. It was very unconvincing. It was quite obvious what was happening, but scammers, as always, are trying to key in on methods. So we do, while that's the advice we're giving now, we still want people to be cautious even with those video calls. And then the other thing is, if people are willing to not buy online, I'm sure there's a local shelter in people's areas that can help people find animals as well in person.
Yes, there are plenty of dogs at shelters who would make incredible pets. Is this something that is happening with overseas scammers, or is this domestic, or what are you finding?
Yeah, so we're finding this is pretty almost exclusively is people overseas targeting U.S. citizens and Canadian citizens in particular. That's actually, you can kind of tell from some of the trends of, where these both websites are created, but then where they're targeting these fake ads as well that I had mentioned. And this really is one that's targeting people in North America from overseas.
And is the Better Business Bureau working with any other agencies on this? Is it likely will anybody get their money back?
I wish that was the case. We certainly are always working with other agencies, and we're, providing them with new information, providing them with leads of how to track down these people. But it's a line I say often, and I'm kind of always sad to say it, is that, the scammers have gotten good at using ways to send money that once the money is sent, it's as good as cash, essentially. So it's very hard to recover money in these cases. And that's why this is one of the scams where we really urge caution, because some of these scams, we do see people get some luck getting money back, but this is rarely being sent through bank wires and things like that, which are the ways that people can traditionally get cash back. So I didn't talk to anybody as I was working on this that got their money back.
Brian Edwards is the International Investigation Specialist for the Better Business Bureau. Thanks for the pet scam update.
Thanks so much for having me.
A lot happened over the weekend. Wilson Contreras was traded to the Boston Red Sox, and longtime KSDK news anchor Mike Bush announced his retirement, and the Chris and Amy Show have decided to rename some historic St. Louis landmarks after ourselves. It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show.